And we are live. It's finally not raining in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's a nice day today.
Crazy couple days of rain we had. Wonder if I feel like we've got to be out of the drought at this point. Like, that was so much rain. But I think last time I
Yeah,
checked, we
maybe.
were like almost out of the drought. It was like low drought. I guess I can Google it. Google should know the answer. Is California still in a drought?
I think the drought is winding down at the very least.
Droughts.gov. We got our own website for that.
All your drought needs.
Yeah, look at that friggin' map. There's like no drought. There's a little bit of drought in the northeastern part of the state. Los Angeles, doing good though. All right. They're not even going to need this website in very long.
Yeah, not so much drought anymore. What up, Random King? What's going on? Happy Wax Wednesday.
Nah.
Looks like it's almost time for the second snapshot of Wuffi to finish. I think it's like happening today or tomorrow, right?
I think they said 48 hours. When was that though?
48 hours, yeah.
That was
So we're in
today.
the home stretch.
A Friday.
Let's see. Oh, wow. Green Rabbit made it into the top 20. They're on 19 now.
That's crazy. I guess somebody took over the project, but
Good for them, yo. I still have some Green Rabbit shit. If I get airdrop Wuffi token for it, that's great. I'm not mad about
if
that.
anything, it makes me want to sell the stuff I'm holding.
Yeah, same.
My opinion on that is you should just make a new project and not take all the
agree.
bad press slash also just too many assets. Like, problem with taking over a broken NFT project is like they have millions of assets from the clicking game that now just need to be used for something, and that's a bad place to start
Yeah.
if you're trying to start a new project or a new iteration of an old project. Because you either have to screw all those people or you have to implement that and then like effectively convolute the economy of the new game, because there's so much crap they now have to fit in with those crafting orbs and armors, and like it's like if you make a new game now you have all this stuff that you have to just cram into it that might not necessarily make sense for it. So
Yeah, I agree. Magic Beast finally quote launched. I feel like the fact that you put launched in quotations isn't great, but I didn't really hear too much about it. Did you pay attention to it, Random King? What was do you know about this, Lewis?
I saw people talking about it in the Atomic Kings, but it just seems sketchy. Like, it's always seems sketchy.
I do want to hear about it. It sounds fucking like nonsensical.
Jolly posted they had a picture. It was like fight your like boss fight instead of boss fight. Like they hard typoed that. What was I gonna do? I was gonna pull up the Wuffi thing. I haven't actually looked at the top 20. Let's see if we can find the.
I did not get my $1,000 avatar from.
Are they in the top 20?
I don't think so. Magic Beasts. Let me look. Here's the top 20. Funko, Dungeon Items, Cogs Official, Splinter Worlds, or Spinner Worlds, sorry. Warsaken.
Isn't that a gambling website?
Yes, it is.
It's like crazy that they're in a top 5 collection on Wax right now.
It's right? It's like gambling plus like crafting or something. I don't know. I've played the gambling for free a little bit, but I don't know. But I don't get the NFT side of it really. So I just, I like to gamble. So whatever.
It's also crazy. Topps baseball cards. Like, they haven't done a damn thing for that collection in like multiple years, and it's still friggin'. And that one's actually usually top 20 even when it's not. Like when we looked before the announcement.
Yeah,
not
MLB Topps.
After the announcement, before the week, Topps was still baseball cards was still top 20. But that's kind of crazy to me because they really do not incentivize trading and also like move to a different blockchain, and they still have one of the top collections on Wax.
Yeah, we got Taco in 6th place right now, and Realm NFT game in 7th. Wow, they're
Realm
still
has
hanging
been
on.
going strong. I
I like
sold all my
Realm.
Realm stuff,
I
but
sold all my stuff too, but I liked the game. I played it. For a while, had fun. Sold everything for about what I paid for it, maybe even a little more.
I can't believe
That was a great
Arland is
NFT
still
game.
around.
We got Battle Miners in 9th place. I'm sorry,
Arland
in
was a
8th
spin-off
place.
of fucking Our Planet.
Oh,
I don't know how that's in number 16 right now.
I've never even heard of Outlaw Troops. That's the 9th
I've heard
place
of Outlaw
collection.
Troopers. That's a game. I think that one's actually like playable. Like
Okay.
I think it's like a 2D top-down game where it's kind of like a RPG. It almost looks. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it almost looked like Zelda
Okay, that sounds
style.
kind of fun. Then we
I don't know. I
got
just
bringing
don't.
up the last of it is Music Mogul is the 10th of the, so it's the top 10. And then you got
I
Tops
might
as
try to
11.
sell my Music Mogul stuff. That's what this
That's
list is
what
kind of showing me. Is like, what can I sell that
that's
is
what I've been
gold
doing. I've
selling
been
in
listening to
brawlers? Can I
stuff.
sell my gold? I have so much friggin' gold that nobody wants because it became like useless after they. I
Let's
thought gold would
see.
be implemented in the game better, but holding that was a mistake.
Yep, Blockchain Brawlers is on the board. We also got Wax Apes and Skunky Chunks.
Chunky Chunks is like one of the first collections I've seen where I'm like, okay, they're a real wax community actually doing stuff on wax that I agree with. Besides, I guess Funko, but I don't even put Funko in the same ballpark. It's like that's not a wax project. That's a project using wax.
Yeah.
Whereas like Skunky Chunks is a wax project. Like that's a part of the wax community.
Yeah, and then Our Land, that one's also kind of a BS project, right? That's like the botter from Alien Worlds.
I think it was an Alien Worlds botter that made it, but also it's been a long time since I looked at it. It was really just like another friggin' like it was just a way to like funnel Aether out of Our Planet users because you could use Aether to buy their packs and stuff. But yeah, I didn't know the game was even still going, and also this was not on the list before the Wuffi thing, so that makes me think they're pumping it just for Wuffi.
Yeah, and then we got Novo Pangea's on there with Green Rabbit and
What the fuck is the Grazing Goats Club?
Grazing Nodes. Yeah, I never heard of that one. But that's
like
bringing up the rear. Bringing up the rear at spot 20. Crypto
That has
Monkeys
to be
has fallen
disqualified.
off.
It has fucking 20. It has 10 sellers. There's no way that's going to be seen as legitimate.
Yeah, that's that.
Good Machiavellic. Machiavellic has 27 sellers and 8 buyers. Only 8 people have bought that. Is this the
like
weekly
nonsense.
numbers? That's pretty bad for a lot of these. Like,
yeah, wow.
But even like the higher ones, like Funko has 979 buyers. That's legit. Dungeon Items has 791, and then pretty steep drop down. Like when you get down to Spinia World, it's 36 people. Like that's not a lot of people for like a full week. That's like 5 people a day.
I could totally just like wash trade between a few of my wallets and get on this list.
It's a lot of wax. It's just not like those 36 people did 90,000 wax worth of volume.
I don't know. Why can't I quadrille? They're doing it. Look at that. There's like 8 people making all that volume happen.
I don't think this is going to be qualified because they said they're going to disqualify obvious wash trading, and I feel like this is about as obvious wash trading as you can get.
To me.
8 buyers and 26,000 wax worth of. But
they did say so.
This is pretty much what we expected to happen. Like a bunch of people pumping their own collections.
Yeah. So nothing too out of the ordinary there. I will say, of all those collections in the top 20, I actually own like assets in quite a few of them. Like, I have Novo Pangea. I have
I have a decent amount of these. I have Funko. I have Dungeon Items. This also makes me think it's not going to be like the newest Funko. It's going to be if you hold any Funko NFT, which is like
that'd be great. Cool.
Dungeon Items I own.
I have a Warsaken deck. I'm not like selling out of. I have a few taco things.
I don't know how much taco I like. I
have like some Cryptia stuff. Like I have a few non-transferables that I've gotten from like playing the games.
Realm, I think I
Um,
sold almost everything. I might have just some like
I
scraps
might
left to
have
talk about
I
Realm.
might have some airdrop stuff from Realm, but not
Same with the
much. But
NFT
I have
battle
some.
miners. I listed everything I had. I don't think it all sold, but I was trying to sell
That's
everything
kind of
I
where
had
I'm at
left.
with battle miners too. I think I listed a bunch of it a long time ago, and I don't think like some of it sold, some of it didn't. So I probably get a few little airdrop tokens from that.
I've got Music Mogul. I don't think I even like. I think I sold all my top stuff. I had packs for a while, but I never really collected the baseball thing. That was a flip for me. Which I did very well flipping tops baseball packs. Like
Yeah, you did.
them shits were like holding on to fucking something aging very like a fine wine on wax. Like it's just like whenever I needed to buy into another project, I was like, okay, I'll just sell another one of these baseball packs because they just never really dropped in value.
After they did that baseball pack drop, and I saw how you did, I was so excited for the next set of baseball cards to come out, and the fact that they moved off chain, I was bummed. I was like, I would have
Quadrell
definitely gone
says
hard the next time
Battle
around.
Miners just announced their monthly subscription rate. $40 a month. Yeah, hard pass for pretty much any Web3. Like World of Warcraft was like $15 a month. Like you think you
Yeah,
could
and there's like
is your
8
game better
million
than
people
World of
playing that shit.
Warcraft? Like how the fuck are you charging people that much money for a game?
Damn, dude, $40 a month. That's like, yeah, that's too much for a
Only
video
in
game.
Web3 can you do that because people will not pay that for a game that you can't potentially make money off of. So it's like, hey, if you want to keep money, keep funneling money into us. But I have heard from people playing Battle Miners that it's still pretty profitable and the game's decent. But I'm just pretty much out on all like even when I was talking about Outlaw Troopers, it's like I don't play like top-down RPGs that look like they're from the 90s. Like it's not a style of game that I play outside of the space. So like I'm not super interested in jumping into that stuff just because that's crypto attached. Like at this
Yeah,
point, you need to make a game that I actually want to play. It's also why I'm considering selling all my Music Mobile stuff because I'm just like I don't.
that's kind of where I was at with Music Mogul. I listed a bunch of it yesterday because I was like, oh, cool, the market's pumping because people want like the airdrop. And honestly, like I've checked around the game. I'm like, this is more or less like a gambling game, and I don't hate gambling, but I'd rather gamble on like other things than like this like very specific music themed platform. So
I
I
can't believe
started listing
NFT
a bunch of
Panda
mine.
is still around too. There's so many
Not just
projects where I'm just
around,
like,
but like top 20.
I mean, top 20. Actually, this one is one of the more legitimate. They have 129 buyers or sellers. I guess sellers is more than buyers. That's a red flag. Means like a couple people are pumping it, and then everybody else is trying to sell out of it. That's how Green
Yeah.
Rabbit is too. 33 buyers and 104 sellers. Whereas, like,
Ah,
I feel like the legitimate ones, if you look at like Funko has 979 buyers and
huh?
1,380 sellers. So it isn't just everybody dumping and a couple people pumping it. There's like a lot of people buying into it. Same with Dungeon Items. Dungeon Items is like 2-to-1 ratio, but that's certainly a lot better than Cogs, which is 72 people pumping and 877 people selling it. So it's like, you know, a relatively small group of people pumping, and then everybody else is just selling out of it, which makes me think a couple people are trying to manipulate the market to get themselves large airdrops.
yeah.
If you had enough wax, it seems very possible. Like,
It seems doable, but also like why? It doesn't seem like this is going to be worth it as far as
yeah,
like how
I
much
mean,
you're getting for it.
I have that much wax. I have
I do too. I'm not doing that.
80,000 wax or whatever. I'm not going to spend it trying to get Woofy. That's fucking crazy. Honestly, to get 20 though, you'd only need 16,000 wax is the volume for the 20th collection right now. Even that, I'm not going to spend 16,000 wax trying to get Woofy. Nor do I really think it's smart to like manipulate the market of my own collection. Like I'm not going to
Yeah.
put a bunch of false volume into a collection to make Neon Space look better than it is.
Yeah, I don't
Not
like
doing
to
it.
like fool. It feels like dishonest. You're like fooling people, and then you end up with like people who have an expectation based on the fake numbers. Not a good move.
But I don't know. There's a couple legit projects, and the interesting that there's like it's all just games. Like Skunky Chunks might be the only collectible project. I guess Wax Ape Brave Club. If you disqualify things made by like the Wax Team or Wax Team adjacent, though, that's like Wax Ape Brave Club, Music Mogul,
Yeah.
Blockchain Brawlers. Like they have like a large chunk of that. I feel like that's an unfair advantage. It's really just Skunky Chunks.
Yeah. I'm
I guess
impressed with that.
Grazing Goats Club. I don't know what the fuck Grazing Goats Club is, nor do I think it's legitimate as 23 buyers, 10 sellers.
Yeah, I actually do like Skunky Chunks. Like the artwork's fun. It's like a little like pot themed, which I like.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like we're seeing the shenanigans that we thought we would see. Just a bunch of people pumping collections. I don't think it's necessarily all collection owners, though. I think there's a lot of whales in these collections that are like pumping them to pump their own bags for a Wuffi. Like that's kind of what Cogs looks like, because Cogs has 72 buyers and 877 sellers.
Yeah.
Clearly, not that many people are buying it, but like whoever is buying is putting. I guess we can go look at the wallets buying it. Let's do some research and see if my
Right.
theory is
Let's do
correct.
some sleuthing.
But if the people buying it probably hold a metric ass ton and are trying to get a bunch of Wuffi, is my guess.
Right. They'll probably get a buttload of airdrops.
Cogs is also like a pretty OG wax community, and the people hold a lot of wax and are able to.
Yeah,
do
those
that.
people have wax.
Cogs. Not bad 3-day volume though.
No.
$900 a day. Probably has not seen that in a while. I don't know. Like, we can look at the chart. 1 month. See how unnatural.
How this last week looks compared to the previous ones. Yeah.
Is doing $6 a day, 21 cents, $8, $3, 50 cents, 23 cents, 16.37, $1.87, and then boom, the second this competition starts, $1,000 the first day. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't look sus at all.
You know, I mean, yeah. I hope it's worth it. I mean, I doubt that Wuffi token, especially from this airdrop, I think maybe from the first airdrop, it made sense to me to be like, okay, maybe like move some of your wax out of NFTs or something into liquid wax to try to farm an airdrop. But
let's see who's buying.
This is such a smaller amount. This is such a smaller amount of fucking Wuffi tokens being dropped in this one.
Another question is, I don't know if I actually want to go through and look. It's like, are these people just buying from their own wallets? Is another question.
Yeah, that's true. They could straight up just be buying from one wallet to the other.
I think that's Coleman from Morsaken. Thank you for the raid, Las Vegas Ape. We're looking at the top 20 collections on Wax right now, because the top 20 collections on Wax as of Friday will get a Wuffi snapshot. So the next Wuffi airdrop, which isn't actually going to be an airdrop, it's going to be a claim. It's kind of a not correct term, but people will get Wuffi if they own any NFT from the top 20 collections. So we're looking. Cogs is number 3. So I was like, I wonder $6,000 in a week, like, is that normal for Cogs? So we just went and looked at the Cogs collection. If you look at,
it's normally like $6 a week.
Yeah, if you look at the monthly chart, up until this collection, they were doing like $31 in a day, $8 in a day, 39 cents in a day, $7 in a day, 0.0088 cents in a day, so $40. And then they did have one day with $1,000, but under $10 a day every day of the month until this promotion week started, and they're at $1,000, $1,000, $500, $1,000, $900. So it seems like pretty clear to me that there's a group of people pumping the collection. And my question was, is it just whales who hold the collection? Like, is it collection owner? So I was trying to see who is buying it, if we could look up the wallets. So I just looked at a couple of their wallets. This person only holds 8 Cogs. So this person...
Yo. Thanks for the follow.
You know what we could check, though? We could check if this wallet is connected to the other wallet. Let's go to Wax Detective.
Yeah, let's see. Are they just buying their own shit, or are they actually buying from like people listing shit?
This person is just stacked on, like, all these collections, I think, are not all of them.
They just have a shit ton of
Dungeon items is also for the airdrop. They have NFT Panda. Like, they're buying Warsake, and they're buying a bunch of the top 20 stuff.
Damn, let's go.
But it could. That doesn't mean it's not. When is this account created? That's another question. April 7th, 2021. Let's go to EOS Authority. EOS Authority gives you a longer period. Show me your wallet. Here we go. Here's all the connected wallets. What's the one we're looking for? Who did they buy from? Who did you buy from? 22 URG. No, I don't know if this one has any evidence.
It seems pretty legit.
But also, I mean, I have to check if 22 URG is connected to other wallets and stuff.
Right.
It's more work than I'm willing to do. And if I'm being honest, probably more work than the Wax team's willing to do. I feel like as long as you could like obscure it by like 2 or 3 wallets, they're not actually going to check. There's way too many buyers on all these projects.
Generally speaking, I think that's kind of like the rule of thumb is just like, don't give people a reason to think that it's bullshit and they're not going to look into it. Like, people don't want to do the work.
I do think it's probably a group of whales. Because, like, what? I don't know. I can't imagine the incentive to be spending thousands of dollars unless you hold such a large portion of the collection that you want to pump your own holdings, which is my guess. I don't have any direct evidence for that, but
if I pumped me on space, I guess I would get a shit ton of airdrops because I don't have a bunch of KY would.
Thank you for the raid, Clon Moon. And also thank you to the Las Vegas Ape Raiders. We got a Grubfish open, and we're looking at the top 20 collections on Wax for the Wuffi airdrop, because the top 20 collections on Wax get a snapshot.
The snapshot is happening on Friday. Yeah, if you hold any in the last NFT, 48 hours.
It's also not by rarity, so it's like any NFT. So anybody who holds the most, like if someone's just buying like for Green Rabbit, whatever their like shitty crafting item is, if they're just scooping the floor of the 0.0000 Wax ones and buy like thousands of those, then they might do okay on this Wuffi airdrop. I'm sure like Cogs has a bunch of Jeep Cogs too. If we're looking at I guess that could be another thing, is that it just really is just people who want Wuffi, and they're targeting collections that have many very cheap NFTs on their floor. Because Cogs, I think, has like 4.1 million NFTs in their collection, and there's no way 4.1 million NFTs are holding value. So like, if they just have thousands and thousands of cheap ones on the floor, like let's see what the floor of Cogs is. 0.6 Wax, which I'm sure has been swept up, but that might be why. Is like, let's see what like Green Rabbit was. That would be my other guess, if this is legitimately people that just want. Yeah, like Green Rabbit is 0.1. I think Green Rabbit also has like millions because they have this weird crafting.
Yeah, their crafting thing pumped out different assets is wild. I lost track of
1 million. 1 million NFTs. That's also what I was saying. Like, I don't know why you'd take over this project. They have so many just NFTs that are going to break your economy if you even try to adapt them. But I have no idea what they're doing with the new Green Rabbit, so I can't really comment on how well they're transitioning or if it's worth, if they have like a solid plan. They might just be like, no, those NFTs don't work in the new game. Like, sorry, you can use your like main assets, but we're not going to just take all these broken assets, which is what I would do personally, because it makes no sense to like take millions of broken assets.
Yeah. For real. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, let me show you the current top 20. This is the current top 20 Mocha. It is Funko is number 1. All Funko collections go under the Funko umbrella. So if you hold any Funko collection, and also you cannot hold it in a .dp wallet, the drop wallets. And someone in our chat was saying they think they're like trying to exclude it because they don't want Funko to. They were like, Funko is making their own marketplace and like trying to get further away from Wax, so they're like, Wax is retaliating. I don't think that's the situation. I think it's because you literally cannot trade coins out of a .dp wallet. So if they sent them to .dp wallets, those would all just be locked into nowhere. Like, you couldn't trade them.
Yeah, because you can't connect your DP wallet to like Alcor or something. Like,
I think it's more of a logistics thing, and for not including them all under the same umbrella, that also makes sense to me. It's not that they don't like Funko or want their collectors. It's there's a huge overlap between collectors of this Funko collection. So if you dropped a 10 out of 20 collections being Funko, your reach for who's going to hear about Wuffi is much smaller. They're trying to reach a wide audience. So getting
Yeah.
all the same people in one collection or one like the marketing makes sense to me on that. I don't think it's like a note of Wax not liking Funko personally. But who knows? Maybe they're like,
But
fuck Funko.
yeah, the Friday is the deadline for the snapshot, not the token drop. The token drop is going to be at some undisclosed future date, and it will be a claim. So this is a snapshot that is going to determine how much you're eligible to claim at some point in the future.
We think it's going to be, I mean, like the speculation is it's going to be a few months because people think they're going to promote it on Solana before they drop it on Wax. And there's, as far as we know, been zero marketing on Solana yet. But we think the first half is going to be on Wax. The second half is going to be on Solana. So they're going to do the same thing where they're like, if you hold X amount of Solana or maybe specific Solana tokens, they'll airdrop to you, and then specific Solana NFTs from the top NFT projects in Solana. That's also speculation, though. That hasn't been announced, but like, I don't know. That would just make sense. They're doing the same thing, and they're trying to make it a cross-chain token and get people from Solana into it.
Right.
The first
Especially
one was,
because it's like it would be strange to do a cross-chain token and like launch liquidity on one blockchain before the other.
So the second snapshot, this is the second snapshot. The first one's for a Wax wallet. Correct. The first one already happened. They have a bot checker in their Discord if you want to see if you qualified. The drop is in quarter two. Okay.
The first one was like 2 weeks ago or something.
Let's keep scrolling.
Maybe 3 weeks now.
I can also post this link if you just want to do your own DYOR, do your own research. But they made their own.
In Q2. Was there an announcement to when the drop is?
Not like a formal announcement, but they do say stuff in the chats that like they don't put in the announcements. Like if you're just reading through, I haven't been reading through the chat lately, but
okay, yeah, that makes sense to me though. That they're gonna like have it at least like.
I trust Chris. I don't know why you'd lie about when the drop is.
All right. Yeah, dope.
There is a plan for a bridge, and that's also what people think is they're not going to drop the token until the bridge is live, which is why people are speculating several months from now that the
I hope the bridge also introduces Solana over to Wax. I'd love to add a like Solana Wax liquidity pool on Alcor.
It would be weird if they didn't. They're like, we're making a bridge of Solana. You have to use this meme token. You can't use any legitimate tokens. I guess that'd be one way to potentially pump the token, though. But I don't know. Be way cooler to have Solana and Alcor and stuff.
Oh, nice. They've said Q2 in the Discord. Okay, dope. Good to know. Q2 it is.
They also said the claim thing in Discord, but never announced that. Like they said, it's an airdrop, but like in the Discord, they're like, you will have to claim it. So
idle wallets don't just automatically get drop tokens.
Yeah,
that's good.
Which that was not like announced in the official announcement channel. Woof token distribution will happen the first half of. When does Q2 start? That's like summer, right?
It's like April, May, June is Q2.
Okay, so that's not that long, but I guess it's also not that soon as far as January.
Yeah, it's like
February,
a month
March.
from now. Yeah. It's like what we said, like like a month or two. Yeah, about a month or two.
People speculated correctly, I would say.
Q2 is when the Bitcoin halving happens as well. So coincidence? I don't know. No, I'm just being silly.
Some of these are pretty sus. Like I think Machiavellic will be disqualified because they only have eight buyers and 21 sellers. That seems like pretty obvious market manipulation. Like you shouldn't. Also, the whole point is to reach a lot of users, and if only 8 people are buying that collection, like I don't know. I think you can do better than give 8 people Wuffi. You know, like that's not a large. Like giving a couple people a ton doesn't make sense. I will say the state of Wax is pretty sad. Like a bunch of these collections, even ones I like Novo Pangeo only has 36 buyers. That's not a lot of people, but I will say a lot more than 36 people hold the assets and are probably playing the game and stuff. So
that's true.
That one at least,
I played the game. I don't even withdraw from the game to like get the snapshot. Although I might. I don't know. Probably not though.
Snapshot's on Friday, so you should think about that soon if you're going to.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. It's not that many like assets. It's like 30 assets or something that I have in the game. They're all relatively high value ones too.
what's wrong with market manipulation when people manipulate the fuck out of the first drop? I mean, I wouldn't say
Uh,
people manipulated the wax market for the airdrop. People did multi-count, including myself. I openly multi-counted. They also didn't say you could like. They didn't say one airdrop per user. Like that was part of the rules. Whereas the rules for this one is you're not supposed to manipulate the market. Like as far as
yeah, no wash
I don't
trading.
know, it's the rules of a project. So if they say no on this one, then also I don't think they're going to measure it that closely. Like as I was saying, like the amount of work I did to find those wallets on cogs, I'm like, I don't think they'll go any farther than this if they even go this. I think they're just going to look at the numbers on this chart. And if they see like 700, if they see enough buyers and sellers of unique wallets, I think they're like, yeah, that's fine. But if it's like 8 wallets, I think that number is
Yeah,
going to trigger a red flag.
yeah. I imagine it's something like that where it's like, okay, if it's hundreds on both sides, it's like, okay, we don't need to look further than that. And then if it's like, okay, there's very few here, it's like, okay, let's look closer. And then if it's, it seems like wash trading, then
Yeah,
they'll
I
be
think
like,
if you have like
you're done.
less than 20 wallets and thousands of dollars moving through the collection, then that's going to trigger red flags. But I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to do like wax detective and like, I don't know, the
Yeah, I
amount of
agree.
time it would take to find that.
It's like as usual, don't give people a reason to look into shit and they won't look into it. So,
I
people
also
who are wash trading and are doing it more discreetly probably
I
won't
also
get
just think
caught.
it's not worth it. Like if you're asking me like what's
Yeah.
wrong with it from a personal opinion is that like Woofie's probably not going to be worth anything. So that's a big waste of your own wax. Even if you're just trading yourself, the collection and the market fee, like the amount you lose in that is probably could potentially be worth more than the Woofie's worth as far as like my own like
Woofy to the moon. Yes. That could be also problematic because the people who normally would trade or then come after you and trade that collection will see metrics that don't represent like real metrics that they can expect to continue to see in the future, and so people might get like the wrong idea because a collection has wash trade metrics
yeah, I
rather
think
than real
in
breakdown.
general, wash trading is dangerous to collectors because people think something's worth the price that it's wash traded at, and then they buy it and they can never sell for that price. And I mean, that's like that happens not just on wax and just for this. Like that's a problem with NFTs in general. Like if you don't think people
Like,
on Ethereum are trading between friends and like trying to get fucking what is that one website? The blur rewards, like the trading rewards on the ether markets. But even before that, people
oh
were
yeah,
like, that guy like took a loan to buy his own Bored Ape for like the highest number it ever sold for just to make it look more valuable than it was. Like people have been
yep,
doing wash trading shenanigans since the beginning of NFTs, I'm sure, just to try to pump their own bag. So
oh
a
yeah, it
lot, like
happens on
honestly, a ton of
regular.
NFTs is nonsense and like market manipulation, and like it's not too
Yeah,
different than the fine art market, where like people are buying fine art at super high prices from their friends to like do tax write offs or whatever. Like I don't know,
yeah,
shit's
exactly.
shit's sketchy, always has been, and that's why like I don't know,
There's a
it's
line
dangerous.
somewhere, but you got to define where that line is for each individual thing because things are pretty sketchy all the way to the top.
I still think it's bad in general, though. I'm not saying you should be manipulating markets, but I'm just saying it's pretty
Yeah,
common
I
in
agree.
this space.
Also, wash trading is a big part of just fungible token trading too, not just NFTs. Like a lot of the volume you see in liquidity pools, especially for like shit coins or meme coins, isn't like real volume.
I
It's
honestly
it's
think it
usually
kind of
like
ruins like the ability to collect. Like that shouldn't be happening so often in a market where legitimate collectors are buying stuff. Like it's definitely bad for real collectors that happens, and like the fact
yeah,
that the crypto shit's mixed in with like the people who just want cool shit. Like I don't think that's good. Like I didn't
yeah,
collect Beanie Boy babies, but I don't know if there's like crazy wash trading to manipulate the price of Beanie Babies. Maybe there's always been a thing in collectibles. Like I haven't been in collectibles to
maybe.
know long enough if that's like a new problem, but I don't know about that. Like I feel like that's like a big minus for like if digital collectibles have a future. Is like the whole market manipulation and crypto bro circle jerk thing is like very bad for collectibles. It's bad for people outside of that circle jerk, really, which is a lot of people. So I don't. Time will tell if that hurts like the
Yeah,
ability for NFTs to really have anything long term. Because I feel like what you see is a lot of pump and dumps is really what just happens, where it's like
yeah,
people pump, buy a ton, and then just dump it on people, and then like it also from a collector owner standpoint, it fucks with like you knowing the supply of your shit. When people are manipulating the floor and scooping
Yeah.
everything, like you don't know how many you should be minting, and you over mint assets because like one person holds like 50% of it, and just uses that 50% to try to dump on people. So like it makes artificial demand is not good for anybody except the person trying to dump on people. It's not good for buyers. It's not good for the collection owners trying to mint a
Yeah,
proper
that's
amount.
exactly why you would like wash trade through your own like shitcoin liquidity pool, make it look like there's a bunch of volume, get people interested in buying it, and then dump on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sick of that stuff, but also that's crypto. Like happens not in
That's
just NFTs,
crypto.
but
Yeah,
just bothers me because
that's
it's like
true.
hard for legitimate businesses to do. Like I feel like if you really want to run a legitimate business, like not advertising to the crypto people at all and just using crypto as a back end and hoping they don't find your shit is like kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Like what
and
NASCAR did on Wax. NASCAR uses Wax. Wax users don't buy NASCAR stuff. Like it's they airdrop shit to ticket holders. You buy season pass ticket holders, and they have collectibles on Wax, but they never did like a open drop for Wax users, and Wax users never really manipulated the price and stuff. But sort of feel like that's
that's a
like
move.
the way major companies should be approaching it. Because even like Funko got exploited to shit. Like those drops all. I mean, just look at it. Like every single
Yeah,
drop sold out and was flipped for 2x the price, and now they don't sell out anymore. It's because all that demand was artificial. Like people were trying to just dump it on people. People who didn't want it were trying to buy it and resell it to people who wanted it. It's like, how is that good for like? It's good for the aftermarket volume. That's good for the flippers, but that is not good for the people who actually want to buy the shit that you're buying it at a 2x price, and then like a couple months later can't sell it for that because some asshole bought the drop you wanted and flipped it to you. Like that's not good for collectors. So
yeah. Hey, I love my AMC NFTs, KY. Don't talk shit about that. They also airdropped me something new. I have like the AMC, I own AMC, and like some weird gold mine one now. So that's a win for me, man. It's a win in my book. I got weird dumb shit in my wallet now.
I don't
But it
think
was
it's
also
weird they're
a
not
free
selling
airdrop.
out in adequate mass because the reason they were selling out was so people could flip them, not because. And that's like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't actually want to attract the core Wax user base because they're all just trying to flip shit for profit. So like that's not good for your project as far as like
Yeah.
I don't know. People don't like buying stuff and then immediately having drop in value and realizing they paid like 3x what they should have because of hype value when you could like I don't know, go on eBay and buy those same things for cheaper after all the crypto hype passes. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't checked if the TMNT stuff still sells on eBay for what people are paying for it on Wax, but people are paying like $200 for those collectibles, and I don't think the common collectibles are gonna like hold that value on the aftermarket. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. I guess I don't know enough about that world of physicals to know that they can hold their value like that.
I mean, they can change the amount, but haven't sold out in like 12 sales. I think that's the way it should be, though. I don't because when you oversupply, that keeps away the flippers, and then they just burn all the rest. So they burn like 12,000 packs for the Space Jam one that just dropped. And I think that's a better thing than what
I
I'm
agree.
saying, where
Yeah.
it sells out and then your actual collectors get fucked because they can't buy stuff at MSRP. So like I think they should oversupply and then burn the rest rather than like undersupply and
Yeah.
screw over all the people buying it that just get gouged by flippers. So I think their model actually makes a lot of sense and is what they should be doing. Like that works much better than them undersupplying and then screwing over all their collectors from people who are multi-accounting and like opening 300 tabs and then buying like all the fucking drop and then just flipping it, which is like a huge problem for the first couple drops. They had to work hard to stop multi-counters and like botters and stuff. So just annoying that like you have to deal with that as a business on the blockchain. I guess that's probably not that different than like people do that to Ticketmaster, like Taylor Swift tickets. There's not enough Taylor Swift
Yeah.
anything where like the supply is less than demand. People are going to exploit the fuck out of like the reason Taylor Swift tickets cost $1,000 is not because Taylor Swift sells her tickets for $1,000. It's because assholes go and buy them all and then resell them to people that want them. So it's not like a problem exclusive to Wax, but it is also like the second people figure out something selling well in Wax, that like a shit ton of people. And also, I think the problem gets worse on Wax because it's decentralized. Like a Ticketmaster, at least, I think like you can only buy a specific amount of things on each credit card. So like they kind of try to stop, but I don't know. I don't know enough about Ticketmaster to compare it to Wax. I've never tried to buy 100 tickets and price gouge people on Ticketmaster, so I don't know how those strategies work. But it's pretty
Yeah,
damn easy to open up 100 Wax wallets and then put Wax into them, and then buy a drop 100 times from different wallets, and then price gouge the fuck out of people. Like that's much easier to do, in my opinion, on a decentralized blockchain than in some sort of centralized service.
definitely.
Mocha says it's hard to guard against that on Wax, and no one tries. I feel like Funko at least tries. Like
Yeah.
I've definitely had criticism for Funko in the past, but I think their whole buying system is improved, and I think
It does
they're
seem
like,
to be like you can actually land their drops if you're not a fucking bot farmer or have 100 tabs open anymore. It used to be like you better have a ton of tabs running.
which is the way you want it as a collector. Like the collecting experience is super frustrating if things just instant sell out and then you have to
Yeah.
immediately pay like 3x the price on the aftermarket. Like that's not a good collector experience. So I don't know if it's Funko doing it helped or people just stopped being able to flip them and that's why the demand has gone down so much. Probably a combination of both, but I think it's at least in a healthier place now than like the first TMNT drop.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're kind of figuring it out. And it's a nice like I think it's a nice union between like centralized and decentralized with their drop wallet. Although I wish I could do a little bit more with the DP wallet. I can always just withdraw from the DP wallet to any
Yeah,
wallet that I own.
it's free to
So
just
no big
withdraw
deal.
it to your decentralized wallet, which I think is fine. Like I don't think they need to deal with their wallet signing into other stuff.
Exactly.
Also, like that's how you prevent dumbasses from getting scammed. If you could just
Yeah.
sign into an exploited smart contract with your fucking DP wallet, like people have no idea how to use Wax. They're gonna get scammed if you can't do any of that shit. You can't click a broken link and lose all your Funko NFTs. Like that's better.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually go the other way and say I think what
Yeah.
they're doing is better for their collectors than having a decentralized wallet.
I agree. I think they're figuring out a pretty good like system for themselves.
And I really think Wax should be trying to onboard everybody to a similar, like next time Tops comes over, have a Tops wallet and have a Tops marketplace. Like let them have all their own
Yeah.
shit. It's like I don't know. It's been a lot of debate in the Wax unofficial Telegram and stuff whether or not like why Wax can't onboard large properties anymore. And I'm like, I think a big like if you look at what happened is they left to a more centralized blockchain and made their own marketplace. So like I don't know, like
Yeah.
common sense logic to me says that that's something they're interested in, and they didn't have that on Wax. They want the market fees. Like everybody wants to be Atomic Hub. Everybody wants the fees that people are trading their shit back and forth. So if their drops are selling out and people are gouging people, they want a larger cut of that. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, they want more control of their drops because like every fucking drop got exploited on Wax through that stuff, and like their customers had pretty bad. Like people that bought the MLB drop did not have a good time. Like the MLB drop was a fucking horrible experience. It like sold out. A bunch of people fucking got credit card charges and then didn't receive packs because like the credit card
Yeah, I
sales
remember
went
that.
through and then they minted too many. Like had none to mint left. So you just got errors. You got nothing in your wallet and a credit card charge, and you had to go reverse your charge. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of not great experiences happening on Wax because of all the exploiting. And Funko figured out the Q thing. They're like only so many people can buy it at the same time, so we're not having 9 million people charge their credit cards at once. Like you have to wait, and they're like doing a line there so they can check. They're okay. We minted this many. Next people come in. Then you use your credit card sales, and like they slowed it down so people aren't overloading the system. But like Drop really figured out the way that all of
Yeah.
these big companies should have been doing drops. And the fact that they figured out after all these companies left, I think was detrimental to Wax. But I think if Wax
Yeah.
tried to onboard people in the future, they should be like, hey, like, except I don't think they own any of the drop shit. I think that's all Aloha EOS. But I feel like Wax should invest into that infrastructure for anybody. Maybe not like decentralized where like Neon Space can use it, although that would be
Yeah.
sick. I think they
It would be
should use it for partners, like if they try to onboard another Tops or another MLB is Tops or another Hot Wheels or anything like that, and be like, okay, we have the ability to set you up your own marketplace, your own centralized wallets. Like you all can control this shit. So I think that's the meta for Web3 is centralization with bridges to decentralization. But I don't think the initial distribution should be decentralized. And I don't necessarily think it's good for non-blockchain users to have to deal with a decentralized space because scams are rampant it's very easy to get fucked out of your NFTs and your crypto. So like, I think to protect new users, you really need some sort of centralized system where people can't just like that, and like, you know, people making fake collections on Atomic Hub and like selling fake packs and all that. Somebody sent me a link. That there's like a
It
fake
used to. It's
Funko
gotten a
out.
lot easier to like avoid the fake shit these days, but back in the day, that was also really easy to like
It's
just get
still
like a.
not, if you don't know what you're doing and you unclick the, like, here, somebody made this collection on the 17th. It's blacklisted, so I can't see it, but they made a fake standard pack for the Halloween Funko. They made their collection called Spooky's Funko, and they did volume. They sold one of them for $588. So somebody thought they bought a Funko pack and bought a fake pack. So it still
Oof.
happens, and like, it might not be scamming people out of thousands of dollars, but like,
Yeah.
it's like when you have your own Funko market, this doesn't happen. When you have your own Funko wallets that can only interact with your market, like, all of this
Yeah,
goes
that
away.
can't
So I
happen.
do think for the protection of their users, like, it really makes sense to have centralization. And then I do think like blockchain should have some decentralization. So the option to be able to bridge, and if you are brave enough to use the wild west that is Atomic Hub and the decentralization, and you like the decentralization, then you have the option to go there. But I don't think the default should be
Yeah.
decentralized, especially for
I
new
feel like
users.
it could go to the next level for me still, where like the drop marketplace uses the atomic standard. That would be ideal in my opinion, so that anything that's being listed on their marketplace could still be bought on like the open DeFi side of things. And since that's not the case right now, I feel like that would be my only grievance with the way they've set it up. Like I feel like it'd be really cool if they kept their whole centralized setup, but also
It'd be
made the
cool, but
token
what's the
standard so
incentive
that.
to make less money for on the market for the brands doing it?
I guess they would make potentially less money from the taker side because if anything that's
It's,
bought not
I mean,
on
it's
their platform
1%.
is
I would
1% less.
argue, I mean, playing devil's advocate to my own thing, that you would reach a larger audience and sell more
That's what I would
through
say
Atomic
too.
Hub, and that would make up way more than the 1% that you're missing. But
Yeah,
I also get that. I get why like a company would look at it and be like, why would I want to give some random ass marketplace 1% of our stuff?
yeah. It's like half of the you're getting paid, or you're paying them half of the like fees just for like sourcing the buy and sell transaction.
I don't think WDNY ever did a good job. Like, WDNY isn't that what like MLB was through, and like had horrible fucking like glitches that I was talking about? Like, I don't think WDNY ever figured it out in the way that Drop did. And I also feel like they had time. Like, they did so many drops, Wax, like the Wax
Yeah,
team, the people on board through that, and they never fixed it. They were just like, yeah, you could exploit the fuck out of this and like buy shit that doesn't exist, and like didn't figure out the queue system, and like, unless they've done a drop since then. But I feel like they just didn't figure it out, and we're just like, the Wax team literally is like, you can't do credit card sales on Wax. Like, it's just impossible. That was their solution. I was like, that's not a solution. Like, you can't, in this day and age, tell people they can't onboard people with credit cards. Like, good luck getting anybody who isn't already in a centralized exchange who has Wax, which is a
yeah,
very small amount of people compared to the amount of people who have credit cards willing to buy new shit. But yeah, I thought that was like a lazy, like, that's also why, like, we've had this discussion before. People are like, well, didn't they do like blockchain brawlers and stuff? It's like, blockchain brawlers, Music Mogul, you could not buy with credit cards. Those were Wax only drops, and that's through WDNY. But like, they just stopped doing credit card shit because they were like, yeah, like credit card theft, like impossible. Like, you're only gonna get people getting scammed and shit. I was like,
yeah. I don't think Mocha. I don't think it would even need to be that the atomic contract needs to be updated to see the other marketplaces. It would be that the other marketplaces need to use the atomic announcement section of the contract, because in the atomic asset standard for NFTs on Wax, there's a function of that contract called broad like announce sale, and that's how you like when you list something on Atomic Hub, you just call that function from the smart contract. But the way that the drop marketplace works, instead of you just doing the announced sale contract directly on the atomic asset contracts, you're using their own smart contract to basically be like, hey, list this asset ID or this item for sale, and the sale stuff all happens on a separate contract, not on the atomic asset standard, and therefore it doesn't populate across every other marketplace because you're never actually pulling up the broadcast, or the, what is it called? Yeah, broadcast like or sale or whatever that the function is of the contract. So it is possible using their current infrastructure and just using the existing atomic standard to do a marketplace where only thing that users in that marketplace that sign into their marketplace, the only thing they see is collections that are like whitelisted to that marketplace. So only Funko collections, but those listings would still be visible across the rest of Wax if they were using the atomic asset standard. So it wouldn't even require a huge update as far as like the NFT standard already exists to facilitate it. It's just that the drop marketplace would need to adopt, listing using that, which is
I don't
possible.
think WDNY is always bad. Like, it's fine for crafting. I also think WDNY did have a lot of good leaderboards. They had collector leaderboards that added points for what you're collecting for WDNY collections. Or, am I saying that right? WNDY, WD, whatever the fucking acronym is, but I do think it was not great for distribution. Like, I feel like you can't say that the fucking MLB sale went well. Like, a lot of their sales, like the way stuff went out and like the ability to multi-account, and also like the fact that it sold assets that didn't exist to people, like that was not good in my opinion. So I wouldn't call it a great platform for distribution, but I do think they had some good ideas though. Like the leaderboard shit is something that like should exist for all Wax collections. And forget who we were talking to. Like somebody we were talking to was asking about C-Mocha saying the Hot Wheels ones also sucked. I don't think they ever figured out the drops.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if they figured out like the queue system at some point. But I don't. There's no queue for blockchain brawlers and stuff. I don't think was there. That was so long ago. I can't remember. There has been a long time.
Yeah, Brawlers, that was an intense one. That was like a whitelisted drop and then a public drop that had like an instant sell it basically. I think you got into the whitelisted drop though, because
I got in the whitelisted one for that. Yeah. Music Mogul, was that a queue? I can't remember. Like it's been so long.
Music Mogul was a queue. Yeah, that one was. We had to get into a queue. I was on like 3 browsers and I ended up getting in one, and that was expensive. It was like $70 or something.
Maybe they figured it out, but I do feel like for a very long time it was not good. Like there's a lot of bad distribution experiences. Whereas I feel like even from the beginning, Drop has always had a slightly better like user experience.
Yeah.
Although I think they said they fixed the multiple tab thing. I'm not sure how true that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
You also don't really need to multi-tab anymore though, because it doesn't instant sell out.
Yeah, I do remember a lot from my early days on Wax. You'd get that little like error message on Atomic Hub that was like too slow, basically. Sorry, the listing like you're clicking is no longer available. And that would happen a lot with like drops and good deals.
Yeah, I guess my thing for WDNY would be if they made their own wallet that connected, you could only connect that to the drops. That would be a better user experience. Because the other thing is for credit card fraud, like if people are fraudulently buying your shit with credit cards, they can fucking freeze your account on Drop because it's a centralized wallet. You can't do that if you're buying from a Wax wallet. So if you buy a shit ton of a Drop with a stolen credit card, there's nothing they can do about it if you're using a WAM. So I do think like from a security side and like that's the only way that's why like there's Steam holds too. When you're trying to trade digital items on Steam, they hold it for 7 days to make sure you didn't fucking steal someone's credit card and then buy a bunch of fucking Counter-Strike skins that you're going to then sell, wash the money, and then cash out to your own bank account. So like, there's no way to stop that on a decentralized marketplace. And that is a huge fucking problem. If you wanted to ask the Wax team why they stopped doing credit card sales, it's because of credit card fraud. That's literally what they said. They told me and a bunch of people directly in the unofficial Telegram, and WDNY has no way to stop that, whereas Drop does. So I do feel like the centralized wallet is very important for like onboarding new people and being able to prevent fraud and shit. But I don't know. I think that just be the standard. Like we've figured out what works. We figured out what doesn't work, which is what Drop or WDNY was doing, which is why they stopped doing credit card drops. So I feel like the Wax team should either work with WDNY to make a centralized wallet or make their own that isn't WDNY and then onboard new IP through that, because I don't know. We have a system that works. Drop works. Like why fix what? Don't fix what's
take the model that's working and expand on it. Like why is that not like why is that so hard?
And WDNY clearly did not work, which is why they stopped doing credit card drops through it. So I feel like it's like go with the thing that works.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I do like the collector leaderboards. I'll give WDNY that. Like
Yeah.
I would love if there's like a third-party service on Wax that let anybody like just let us put in a template and say how many points it's worth, and then just show their collectors like the collector value, the collector score based on like, oh, neons are worth 25 points, glows are worth 10 points, lits are worth 5, dims are worth 1, and then we could just give like that would be sick, and I feel like that's
That would
something
be
that's
super
missing.
dope. That would be great. Yeah, I'd be so into that.
I'm the KY says drop doesn't really work. At least works for, at least as of now, people are able to get what they want. That's a supply and demand thing, though. There's oversupply and then burn the rest. So there's no reason to need to multi-account.
Yeah, I do like that approach too. That's kind of a nice little like everybody can get it who wants it for a timed window, and then the window closes, and then it becomes like that's the mining amount, the issued amount.
If you open like unlimited tabs at some point, does it say you open too many tabs? Because I thought somebody sent me a screenshot at one point where it said like you have too many tabs open. So I know you can still multi-tab, but like, is it a limited? Like you can do like 5 tabs and then that's it.
It's like a human number of tabs, not no longer a robot number.
Hanaco Mass says I think you only get like 6. But yeah,
Sick.
I don't know. It's not perfect, but I still think it's working a hell of a lot better than WDNY did. At least in my personal experience. Like I've had good experiences on Funko drops. Like every fucking WDNY drop was frustrating as fuck. Like drop after
Yeah.
drop after drop is just like, what is going on? Like credit card errors and like trying to buy shit and not getting it. Yeah, I also think they should be doing 24-hour drops, KY, like the 3-hour thing in the middle of a workday. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Give people 24 hours also for time zones. Not everybody lives in fucking North America.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
people in Asia, or I don't know where that's nighttime.
If you do
Somewhere
like
in the world, those
12
3
or
hours happen while
24
they're
hours,
sleeping.
that would be the move. I would go 24, but if you have to do less, 12 I think is like reasonable. Like I should be able to make a 12-hour time window if I have like a heads up of a day.
But yeah, that got pretty derailed from Wuffi, but those are top 20 collections.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is you should not be aping into any of these for the Wuffi airdrop.
Agreed.
If you want to know what my personal take on this data is, these are collections that you can now sell on the floor. So if there's any of these collections you're looking at exiting, maybe Green Rabbit, Our-Land, if anybody holds that stuff, like stuff you just don't believe in anymore, now's a good time to sell that stuff. Music Mogul, a lot of people are bitching about that. The floor's gone way up. Like now might be the best time to sell Music Mogul stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
People
maybe it moons later.
complaining about it.
I can't predict the future, but I don't know. Let's see what my inventory is worth for Music Mogul. Can I get out for anywhere near what I put into it? Is the question.
People
Although
mad about Music Mogul?
I think the floor is probably going to sell better than the high value stuff because you get no extra. My collection's worth $106, which is still not great because I spent at least $150 on packs. But 84 cents for a common, not the worst thing.
Right. Those packs had how many things in them?
There's 25 NFTs for $75. So should be, if you got your money back, it'd have to be $3 an NFT. Which the fucking ones that were not even easy to pull out are selling for $4.
Damn.
Also, I forgot I have a bunch in the game, so this isn't my full collection. Like my rarest shit is in the game, so I actually might be back up to $150.
That's
my
not bad.
legendaries, 2 of my legendaries, which are selling for $20. So you know what? I probably have, if I were to sell now, could maybe break even. Which, to be honest, I should probably just start listing shit because I don't really like burning my shit and not winning anything. I haven't looked to see if they're updating it. Mike said at one point they're like, "Oh, we'll give like everyone rewards. If you get lower on the leaderboard, you'll just get less rewards." And at that point, I'd be more inclined to play the whole like,
yeah, same.
You only get in if you fucking get lucky. Otherwise, you just lose everything. Is like that's not the game I'm trying to play. But
I agree with that too. I'm not really here for like roll the dice and maybe get burned. It's like
Pop and Stock says Spinio only has an 8,000 NFT. Each will give like 3.95 million Woof. 3.5 million is also not that much in the scale of Woofy stuff, though.
I don't get how the fucking crafting stuff works. Have you fucked with it at all, What is that? Is that Pop and Stock? Is it that?
Yeah, pop and stock.
Yeah, have you fucked with their crafting? I know it's like if you like play their games, they're like betting games, you win some like currencies and you can like craft with it and that's how you get the NFTs. I didn't get very deep into it.
Yeah, I guess if you're trying to ape into shit that gives you a lot of woofy, that might not be a bad option. I just personally don't think it's like going to be worth that much. So I don't know. It
That
makes
is
sense why
definitely a
it's
good thing
pumping
to
though.
consider though, is that like the total number of NFTs that a collection has is going to be like, you
Yeah,
know,
like
how little
Cogs is
each
4
NFT gets.
million, Green Rabbit has 1 million. Although like there's been a lot of burned in those collections, so there's no like easy way to find out how many NFTs have been burned. So like even though Green Rabbit has 1 million NFTs, a lot of
That's
those were
true.
burned to craft things, and that is not displayed in the total number of
That's
NFTs.
true. Music Mogul also has like a fuck ton of their stuff is burned. Like most of their assets are burned. You
But
know,
we have
like
no
I'm
idea
looking at
what Wolf is going to be worth, so you're basically gambling if you're trying to buy any of the shit. Is $1 for the cheapest ticket in this collection? The cheapest NFT? And it's like, is 3.5 million Wolf going to be worth $1? I don't fucking know. Like,
yeah.
that's a gamble, and I guess I feel like personally, I would wait until Wolf comes out and then wait until everybody dumps it from the first snapshot and then try to buy it. Like, I feel like that's a safer thing than like hoping that the value of these
Agreed.
NFTs is worth the amount of Wolf you're going to get. But also, maybe you come up. Like, it's just a total gamble. It's not a gamble I'm willing to take. I'm also going to be a Woofy billionaire from my wax airdrop, so I'm like, I don't need
Yeah.
more of that. Like,
Multi-billionaire.
I am exposed enough to Woof. I don't need to ape into NFT
That's
collections.
true. I should caveat that like everything I say about Woof with that. It's like no matter what I shit talk about it, I'm gonna get more than 1 billion airdropped. So I'll have some.
I don't think there are weights for rarities. I think if you're talking about the Woofy airdrop, I think they literally say in the medium that it's like every NFT is worth equal. So like if you are going to be aping into collections, you should be aping the cheap ones because the cheap NFTs will get you as much as the expensive ones.
That's what I heard too. Because that would be just logistical nightmare if they're trying to weight it.
I don't think the collections have any say in it over. Like I think they're just going to choose who gets it and then you can go claim it. I don't think the collection gets to decide who collecting their stuff gets it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Random King says, I'm trying to join the Woofy liquidity pool. I want it all, the worthless token. I feel like day one, if you put some wax in there,
That's not a
you're
bad
gonna
move,
get
I
a
think.
decent amount of woof, but maybe you end up with more wax. I have no friggin' idea. Like time will tell. I don't know how meme coins work a lot of the time. Like I thought Dogecoin was dumb as fuck for like years. Sold mine way before it blew up, and
Yeah,
it's
sold
will
my
not stop.
millions,
To the
and they
point where now
literally,
to the point where now Doge actually has utility and is like arguably not really just a meme coin anymore. Like
yeah.
you can do shit with Doge that you can't do with
Doge has
other
a
legitimate
fucking smart
crypto.
chain. You can use your Dogecoin to like, you know, go pay fees on a like Ethereum EVM compatible smart blockchain. Kind of cool. I don't see Whoopi doing that though.
I wonder how that super magic beast shit is, or magic beast. Is it in the top? I thought they were just trying to get this
There's no way they're in
beast.
the top. No one's buying that thing for a fucking $1,000, right? Please tell me no one bought that.
Well, they said they're giving it out for free. Like a bunch of people got free ones. Is it because they're
Why the
not
fuck would
whitelisted?
anybody buy it then?
$0 volume.
Yeah, I was
This
gonna
is not
say.
going well for them. Nothing's ever sold from this collection. Sick. They do have 1,000. Can you even buy them? Are they like NTTs? None are on the aftermarket. Is it because I'm not looking at? Is it because I can't see? I guess they are. They're badged, so you would see them.
Right? I don't know. Not going so hot then.
Did we reverse image search these? Let me see. Reverse image search. I feel like this is just something people should start doing in general when they're fucking trying to see if an NFT project is legitimate. Like, I'll save it. I feel like I did and it wasn't. It didn't pop up. Doesn't mean it's legitimate. Also with AI now, like it's a lot harder to do this. You can
Yeah,
AI
it
that
is.
shit pretty easily. 0 matches. Okay. So the artwork is at least not popping up as being stolen.
Yeah, at least not immediately.
There's 300 of these. That means it's worth $300,000. Damn, dude. This fucking market cap's crazy.
Snap.
Are these not transferable, though? How is not a single one listed?
Which wallets
Not
hold them?
transfer. There it is. They're NTTs. So the $1,000 free NFTs they're giving you, you cannot sell.
Then what the fuck is the $1,000 thing? Like,
so if they were trying to just pump the aftermarket for
damn.
Wuffi, they're doing a very poor. I no longer think this is them trying to
Doesn't seem like
pump
a
the
pump
Wuffi
move.
aftermarket,
Yeah.
but I still don't think this is a legitimate project. Like
NTT.
how do I see their website? Oh, here's the website.
Okay, so it's only to buy, no selling, huh? That's that price is whack.
No, that's a scam.
The price is
Sorry.
whack as fuck, yo. I don't know.
I do think there's a play button. To be honest, I would not even log into this with my Wax wallet. That's how little I trust this.
Yeah, this is like this is a burner wallet kind of app.
I don't know where he saw it, but I think they fixed it. But they used to say Bose fight instead of boss fight. Jolly posted that on a Telegram that I saw. That was funny. Thought it was silly.
They've been here before.
Yeah, I'm just over clickers in general. Like,
same.
If you like clickers, good for you. But
yeah,
I'm out here playing real games.
I'm still like, I'll still click every now and then from my Novo Pangea. That's pretty much the like.
I'm out here grinding Counter-Strike 2, getting my ass whooped in premier ranked matches. That's what I'm doing. I'm into BDSM. My kink is getting just whooped in Counter-Strike.
Getting my ass beat.
I'm rock hard the entire time I'm playing Counter-Strike. It's great.
Like, yes, daddy. Stomp me. I get stomped pretty good in Counter-Strike too, but I can't take it for as long as you.
I've been doing better, actually, to be honest, but my ELO is
hey, the last time we played, that was the best I ever did.
My ELO is just really low for like ranked. Like I'm in like
4
the
kills
scrub
one round,
league,
including a triple kill. That was a fucking just like. I was also positioned in a really good spot. They like came around the corner and weren't looking at me, and I was just like, just like you said, you don't really need to aim if you can position yourself well. But yeah, that game is super fun. Honestly, I'm excited for Counter-Strike skins to hit the wax market, man. I want to fucking trade those.
Here, I'll show you this. This was on there. I don't know if this is on the white paper or where, but like this is what they're advertising for Magic Beast Bose fight.
Bose fight. Bose.
And then I made an AI thing. This is the Bose that you fight, and it's a fucking speaker monster.
Nice. The Bose. The Bose comes alive. Damn. That's pretty good.
Which honestly, clearly the team English is not their first language. So
Yella says they fixed it today. Okay, well, we're still laughing about it.
I had to go to multiple AI generators to find one that I liked. So I put more time into that gag than I wanted to, but
I enjoyed it. The Bose.
Mono Suerte is fucking kicking our ass in HLTV right now.
Oh yeah.
Let me show that off. Since you're on stream and Jolly's on stream, that's most of our. Actually, KY was on stream too. That's our whole crew. We have a Neon League for HLTV's. It's like the qualifiers for. Where did I say it was? And now I can't remember the location, but it's the next major. It's like the first one in the. Is it Copenhagen? It's somewhere that's never been before, but
I think it's Copenhagen. That sounds right. We were talking about that the other day.
Mono Suerte has 348 points. I have 272. Jolly has 250. KY has 205. So honestly, Mono Suerte, if you joined, I don't know if you're in the bet league, like you're at the top of that too. Like So I was like, I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm in the, what does it say? I'm in the top 24%. So I'm in like, I'm beating 75% of the people, and you're fucking dunking on me. Like I'm not even close to you. You're like 70 points above me. If you go to the very top, I guess 400s is where people are at, but like, let's see where you're like 350 would end up being. I think you'd be like in the pretty high percentile outside of our league.
Nice.
You would be, let's see, keep going. Damn, people score so high in this. If anybody's interested in Fantasy Counter-Strike, it's free, HLTV, and if Monosorte wins, which looks like he will, I'll send him some neon, give neon rewards.
Heyo.
You would be like in the top 500, in the like top 500 out of like, I think 20,000 people, Monosorte.
Damn,
it's pretty
dude,
fucking good.
He's cheating.
He got Zaiwu, who fucking, I now wish I chose Zaiwu. So my team, like everybody on my team's doing good. 50 points, 60 points, 50 points, 40 points, 40 points. Like all of my guys are doing good. I just don't have anybody that's like doing incredible, which if you look at Monosorte's teams, he got Zaiwu. Zaiwu just solo has almost as much as my whole fucking team. 192 points for just Zaiwu. Fucking A, Zaiwu. You got to be the
Zaiwu.
number one player in the world. You're a fucking maniac. He's still got one player left too. My hope is that Shush gets you fucking negative 100 points, Monosorte. I'm putting that evil on you because I want to beat you, but I don't think that's possible.
You'd have to choke pretty hard for that.
I've got one player left. I do think Star is going to do better than Shush, but let's see who Jolly has. Jolly's got Shiro. Shiro's on the same team as Donk. You're doing pretty good too, except Shush is kind of screwing you guys. And KY had Donk, but in order to get Donk, he had to buy a bunch of shitty guys that got him negative points. Donk has 93 points, but he had to get Keto and Yabi, which has -5 and -30. Jacob also got you 114 points. If you didn't have those negative ones, KY, you'd be crushing it right now. Anyway, enough Counter-Strike fantasy. I'm way into Counter-Strike right now. Loving it.
It is really fun to watch too.
Yeah, the tournaments last night was great. I was up till fucking 9 a.m. Like I sent Max messages. I'm like, I'm going to sleep now. Stream at 2:30, and then like 3 hours later, I sent him another message like, "We'll make that 3:30." I fucking did not go to sleep when I was trying to.
Can't pull away. Couldn't break away.
It should be. I believe it's 72 hours done. Stake CPU. Call me trader.
Yeah, that's right. 3 days. You are correct.
Yeah, the boosters are tough, especially because KY like. You have to sign boosters twice on the same day. Like on the first day, they play 2 matches. So like I was staying up until like 8 a.m. to assign my boosters on day 1, which can, I don't know, 5 points adds up. Like if you can get a bunch of those boosters, right? It's ! Neon, call me trader, not ! play. You got it.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
The matches last night were great. Like almost all of the ones I was watching went to the third map. Like very back and forth. A lot of good plays, some good clutches. It's a great night of Counter-Strike. Tonight is let's see what's happening tonight. Also, I can tell you when the next tournament is, because this one's the qualifiers. The next one's going to be like the big boys playing, and there'll be a new fantasy for that. Let's see who's playing tonight. Tonight, the fuck out of here. Ents is playing Astralis. Static's playing Guild Eagles, and Heroic's playing Gamer Legion. Honestly, not the most interesting matches for me. Ents versus Astralis.
Ents versus Astralis is probably a good match, but that's about it.
I like Astralis. I also like Ents is having like a... Ents went from like rank 30 to like rank 13 in the last tournament. Like nobody expected them to do well, and they made it all the way to the finals. Like they beat a bunch of teams they shouldn't have beat. So Ents is kind of having like a big glow up. So they're exciting. And Astralis also... Astralis is kind of the opposite. Astralis bought like a ton of talents. They bought like 3 new players or traded for them or whatever. And they have like basically got like 3 stars and tried to get from like a tier 2 team to a tier 1 team, but they're kind of struggling. Like they got eliminated really early from the last tournament. So they're kind of like an opposite thing where like Astralis should be performing better and is not, and Ents is performing better than they should be. So it's kind of an interesting Interesting matchup. But I like this is also my player that I have stars on this team. Stayer, I don't know how you say his name. He's the this guy. He's always like the cheapest one on the team. I think Jobby's going to start being, or Yabi, I don't know how you say his name. He's going to start being the cheapest one. This dude's been choking lately. But I like him. I also like Stavin. Stavin's my guy. I like pretty much their entire team. Device he's a cool guy too.
Nice.
People think Ensa's going to win 63%. I'm rooting for Astralis though. And this one's at 3 a.m., so I will watch this one tonight. And then hopefully go to sleep after and not watch the other 2 games. But knowing me, I'll fucking still stay up too late.
We'll see.
And let's see when the next one's going to be. Because this will be, if you guys want to get into the next Neon League, you can be like Mono Suerte and be like, I'm not going to do well. And then pick his IWU and just kick my ass. And then you can talk about mad shit and it'll be fun. But the next one, I believe, is in March, the actual major. Or April, I think it's right. Or Copenhagen. I feel like this can't be right. It says this is in Monterrey, Mexico. Oh, that's the America qualifiers. When is the actual Copenhagen? Oh, it's March 17th.
Oh.
They have an opening stage, and then after the opening stage, the teams that qualify. So this is going to be like, I think must be the teams that didn't qualify. Like these are like the last chance teams that like didn't get a ticket because some of these teams have already qualified, or maybe not. I don't know.
Huh.
I guess the top 2 teams maybe, because it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams from the Europe RMR, and then the opening stage teams get the rest. So I guess the very top teams, maybe the ones that make it to the playoffs. So whoever makes like the playoffs of the current, I don't fucking know how this works. I'm gonna have to look it up. I feel like some of these should be guaranteed by now. But anyway, March 21st will be when this one starts. And this is the big tournament where all the best teams are playing. The Blast Premier will also be doing on, that's the one that Max joined in, and I'll message all those people, but that's March 6th through March 10th. The Blast tournaments also, I think, have my favorite production value. They're most fun to watch, and I like watching them on Blast.
Yeah, I agree. Those are fun. Should we look at the crypto markets a little bit, or you want to run this Grubfish first?
I'll rub the Grubfish first. Jolly says I'm just constantly losing, and CS went from 1,400 ELO to 6,500. I'm at like 4,500 right now, so we might meet at some point. I'm going down too, though. I fucking lost.
Oh, you went from 14,000 to 6,500. Damn, that's like more.
It's
than
hard, especially when you're playing with strangers. Like last time I was playing with the team, some guys just like, I thought we fucking vetoed this map. I'm just like, this map fucking sucks. He's like shooting our own teammates in the back and shit. I was like, bro, don't play ranked if you're gonna like sabotage. You got like, I think he ended up getting like a 1-to-5 kill death ratio. He fucking just tanked our entire team. And like when someone does that poorly, like even I was playing pretty decently, the rest of our team was playing decently. Like you can't win when someone's playing that poorly in Counter-Strike. So it's hard when you're playing with randoms. So you need to go and complete. I think you need to claim the wax out. Like you do the refund, it takes 72 hours, and there's a button to claim it after 72 hours. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it auto like ends up in my wallet, and other times I still have to hit like a claim transaction. So I'm like a little unsure of what like causes that.
All right, let's run this.
I've definitely had it where it just like automatically was in my wallet 3 days later, and then other times it was like, oh, you have to like claim it.
Let's run the Scrubfish and get into crypto markets. Although I want to keep talking about Counter-Strike. I've been having so much fun watching it and playing it.
It is really fun.
I didn't say what we're giving away, but we'll figure it out after this.
Oh, there's
look at all those beautiful grubs and grub tails and backpacks. Oh
man, that was savage.
We have multiple mythic trails going.
Yeah. Usually I only see like one gold trail, but
if even, they're rare.
Oof.
I hope they keep making stuff for Grubfish. I know they stopped their like click farming play to earn game, but this is still one of my favorite implementations of NFT cosmetics on Wax.
Yeah, same. I have the red trail. I should have joined this race.
No.
Fucking no red trail representative.
Lucky Nino went down. Or Lucky Nino. I don't know why.
Red was also the one I wanted. Oh, you don't want to be that big.
I swear to you grew to the wrong size. Oh no!
Oh, slice.
Our last mythic went down.
I almost
Random
thought.
King.
Oh,
I am the
it's
KY.
going to the KY with
victorious.
the trail hiding behind
Trail in a backpack.
Lewis's video.
Are you grubs floating at the end like a victory explosion?
Victory. Oh, and there's a flag too.
Let's see. I gotta get his. I know it's like 5 period RG or 5 period RRG. I know it's something like that, but 5 period RG. I had it, but just to be safe, copy paste makes it so you can't fucking send it to the wrong wallet.
Nice. Can't fuck it up.
We can send you a Sune Loves Seattle. I believe the Seattle Emerald City Comic-Con is this weekend, I think. So if anybody is in the Seattle area and is going to go to Comic-Con, definitely go check out Priscilla's booth. We were lucky enough to be able to go check it out at Anime Con. Was that Anime Con?
Yeah, Designer
Con. I don't even know where it went. Designer Con, and her booth's super cool. Like, not only does she have a bunch of cool stuff, but like the way she decorates it and like makes it look like a little shop. It's nice and cozy.
Yeah,
like,
it was really cool.
So go say hi to Priscilla if you're in Seattle going to Emerald City Comic Con.
If my little sister goes, I'll have her scoop me the exclusive pin.
There's also I think there's another exclusive like actual Sune toy happening.
I do want one of those vinyls. Like she makes like the vinyl of the Sune, the handmade
I can
ones.
probably let me see. Let me go to her Discord and check.
Like those are super fucking cool, but they're also like never available when I've been to
Yeah, they sell it really fast. I feel like they're really reasonably priced too. After going to and seeing people sell shit for like $700. Like I think hers are like $30, $35, which is like
they're also like handmade and stuff. They're really cool. Like she pours the resin herself and stuff.
I think this might be it.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I think this is the emerald
silhouette. That one looks wild.
I think it's a glow in the dark.
Oh, and that's why it looks so like flat.
Oh, it's 70-85 per Sune. I had my prices wrong. Still way cheaper than what a lot of people are selling their stuff for.
For a handmade like resin thing pour like this, I think that's totally fine.
Sune and coffee pin. I was like the glow in the dark. It's nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me see if I can find the coffee pin. Coffee. Does she have an announcement channel? Okay, I think I found it. This is her. She's got the Emerald City Comic-Con logo down there.
Oh, that's cool.
For 2024. That's pretty dope. It's like the Seattle rain raining into a coffee filter, dripping into a coffee pot, which has a sailboat sailing in it.
That's pretty Seattle. That's awesome. Damn.
There's only 100 of these, 100 LE. And I think she has there's a different variation that's not as LE. I think this is the this is the more common version. Is this in Coffee Grounds, this picture? That's not Coffee Grounds. I don't know what that is.
It could be, actually, right?
It might be Coffee Grounds. I don't drink coffee, so I don't.
It looks really cool. Like I like this color scheme too. I feel like this one actually makes the coffee like rain stick out a little bit more.
Yeah, this one's green because Emerald City, green emerald. But you can get both. If you go, you can get this one's also only 100, and I don't know how many she makes of the non-LEs.
Yeah,
that's also what we're trying to do when we get into our physical redeemables. Is we want to do like LEs that you can only get from buying our NFTs. So it'll be like a limited edition 20, and those are only redeemable VIRL from buying our packs. And then we'll have other ones that we sell at conventions that are different color schemes. But that's sort of our strategy for having something exclusive for NFT collectors, but still being able to manufacture enough to make money because we're probably not going to make much money on the NFT sales.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to open up another grubfish, and then Max is going to get into his tech stuff.
Yeah, let's look at the markets a little bit. It is Wednesday.
I might make another tea too. Tea time.
All right, let me pull up my webcam.
Have you worked on the new blend at all?
Yeah, I should be able to finish that one like tonight, tomorrow maybe.
I should announce that too. While we have y'all here, we're gonna have a new blend this Friday. First blend in quite some time, but it should be a Gyrating Hips, which is my band collab. It's gonna feature a new single that I'm releasing on Friday, but you'll get actual Gyrating Hips music on the blend. So I'm excited about that.
Same.
I sent Max the music
Pretty
loop.
cool.
It's sounding banging. It's just been a minute since we've released new NFT, so 2 neon blend tokens. We'll get you a Gyrating Hips neon space collab piece, and I think we're gonna do the same thing. Where
music, I think.
What was that?
The Disco Jones music in the neon rarity?
Yeah, Disco Jones, which the song will be released on the day the NFT is coming out, so it'll be a brand new release, fresh out of the beat oven, and we're gonna do the same thing where it's like, as we've been doing, where there's not gonna be a separate blend for the nakeds. The nakeds are gonna be in there, so there'll be a 1 of 1 shine and I think 5 nakeds, and those will be a part of the same blend as the glow, neon, and lit. But look out for that this Friday. I'm excited for it.
Keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna turn off all my lines here.
I'm also excited about that song. The song sounds pretty damn good.
I like the song too. It's fun.
All right, I'm gonna make a TLB back, but Grubfish is up in the background and Max is
right.
doing his thing. Let me put on the
Let's take a look.
Advice.
I'm gonna
Our
look
legally
at
binding scrolling ticker.
Oh yeah.
NFA. As long as it's on the bottom of the screen, that's legally binding.
Right, exactly. Also, no one's paying for advice, so that's fine. But yeah, let's look at the market really quick. This is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. So let's go back to the daily chart and take a look. Last week we saw Bitcoin was kind of climbing, and had kind of reached here. This is now the daily chart, so each one of these is 1 day. So last week we were like right around here. You saw we were kind of like pushing all the way up and into the overbought kind of side of the SRSI. Since last week, we've been more or less flatlining for Bitcoin. You can see we've been kind of like stuck in this little range here, which is relatively been, I don't know, that's pretty bullish actually, considering that, you know, our SRSI is cooling off finally. This is what we wanted to see last week already. It hasn't happened, you know, quite as early in the week as we expected, or as I expected, but it is starting to cool off now. And what I feel like is going to happen here now, because the weekly is still very bullish. Like weekly close looked fantastic. This is our weekly chart since last year. We've kind of been in this uptrend. You see, we got lots of room to move up still. And we're approaching kind of this all-time high range pretty soon when it comes to Bitcoin. So I'm expecting a good amount of resistance here at the previous, you know, peak of the last bull market, especially because we're getting here pretty early on in the, you know, next bull market already. And what I kind of want to see is us kind of testing these highs as we get closer to the halving event around April. So for the next few months, I imagine probably moving up and ranging around here before then pulling back before or like right after, just around that halving event, which would be kind of historically how, you know, we get a run and then we do get like a pullback before we get that like major bull market run, like we saw back here in 2019. You know, we had the peak in 2017, end of 2017, end of 2018. Then we had it just sell off for like a whole year until we had, you know, a nice run up here, which, you know, also around halving time, or it would be effectively halving time. This is about 3 years ago now. So the Bitcoin halving would have happened right around here. And so after that, it looks like we kind of chilled out again, almost actually with these wicks here. we retested the low of the bear market. I don't know if it'll be that dramatic, because if you look at the day here, this is COVID-19 outbreak. So you see this is 2020, like February, January, February, March. This was like the height of COVID-19, this drop. But we did get a pullback way before COVID-19 started, and that kind of pullback I think is still reasonable to expect here. We get a little bit of that pullback, most likely to retest ranges like 25K, maybe 30K or something before moving up. We also had a similar deal in the previous bull market here with, it's it's starting to look a lot more bullish when you go this far back, 2016 or something. But you do also get, I guess here we're not really closing below our strength band at all, even though here we do get a little bit of that pullback. So looking for something like that to play out in the next coming weeks, but in the more recent time frame, in the next week, which is what we're kind of setting our charts for, it does look like we are kind of turning down momentum wise as far as the daily SRSI is moving down, and we are kind of getting that cool off we wanted to see. I think depending on how fast we fall in price with Bitcoin, we're definitely not going to close below our strength band here. I would be surprised if that happened. I would consider that like a reversal in the trend on the daily. I think we pull back to the band and then bounce to keep moving up. But if we move back, if we continue to move as slow as we have been, like see how flatliney and slow this was, it's unlikely we even make it as far as our strength band. And I imagine we could eventually stay even above 50K. So not a huge amount of pullback before we probably find support and continue to move up in the coming days or week. But I do think the coming week here is going to, from the week also being Wednesday to Wednesday. So I think for the rest of this week, we'll probably see a little bit more of a sell-off, with the weekend, generally being weekend. So shenanigans, whatever, all bets are off on the weekends usually. And then first half of next week, I imagine we're going to like find some support, hover around here, probably, try to build a base here before moving on. I don't think we're going to explode into new all-time highs just yet, considering, there is going to be a decent amount of resistance at this old all-time high level. So this range is going to be hard to push through. I doubt we will see it push through it in the matter of like a week or so. So I do expect this week is going to be a little bit slower as far as the momentum of Bitcoin. So that's basically on par with what we saw last week, because here's the last week, everything was kind of flat. So let's look at Wax as well, because we were looking at Bitcoin just now. And with Wax, I'm going to bring back up our kind of lines that we've drawn. With Wax this past week, we actually got something happening that we wanted to see, which is we pushed above our support in the middle of our trading range. So you'll remember these red lines, if I go a little bit down, this red line to this red line had been the range for liquidity pooling that we set in our Wax USDT liquidity pool. And what we wanted to see is basically this orange line acting as support to basically become a base for us to move to test the upper limit of this range. And so in the last 3 days or so, we did, I'm going to reset this chart again, we did get a breakout above that. And now you can see here, as we're starting to get the pullback, we're starting to cool off the RSI here on the daily. The goal will be to basically find support here and bounce to move further up, rather than have this be a deviation where we just broke above it and then we fall back below and are not able to push beyond it. So what I'd like to see for Wax in the coming days is, as it cools off, I wanted to see it stay above our strength band, of course, since we do now have a green strength band and a bull print. So then I would say the lower end of what we're expecting to see in the coming week in Wax is going to be about 5.8 or so cents on the low end. So assuming that we're going to continue to move up and find support here. And then if we do that, then the very top of that range, where we're going to expect the price to slow down and not just continue to blow out here, would be again 8 cents, about where we've been tracking for a long time. What I did wanted to look at is, beyond 8 cents, 11.5 or 12 cents or so becomes the next target. And beyond that is a pretty open season, kind of all the way up to 30 cents again. So there is that low kind of like resistance zone coming up. If we can push beyond this, this red range that we've been in for like the whole fucking year, if we can push beyond that range, then there is the opportunity for these kind of big breakout price actions. And like we have said in the past, Wax is looking like it's been accumulating for a while and it wants to find one of those breakouts. So obviously every week we're going to keep on top of this and see if we're seeing the signs of such a breakout. And when we do, I want to shift a little bit more aggressively all into Wax with our DeFi position. But with all that said, it looks like this week we are pushed above right now, but with looking to cool off. So it's a little unclear if we found support already. What we really want to see is that bounce to confirm the support resistance flip, the SR flip. And once we get that, then we're kind of in the clear for moving from currently 6 cents back to the 8 cents range. So hopefully we're going to get that kind of a bounce here in the next couple of days. But either way, I would say our old range here is definitely viable if we're going to farm liquidity. So let's take a look at how our DeFi wallet has done since last week. Last week, so as the second part to kind of our Wax Wednesday bit here, I took 100 Wax into a wallet, and I've been putting it into different liquidity pools, and each week we'll like move the tokens around and claim our rewards and stuff in an effort to make more Wax over time. So to continue that effort now, I'm going to sign into that wallet and take a look at how our positions from last week's shuffle have fared. All right. Sorry, had to punch in my password. Can't multitask and password type. But here we go. So this is our wallet now. I'm going to go over to, it looks like Alcor actually updated some of how their layout works. So now the pools are under earn, drop down pools. Let's take a look at our pools. So we have 2 liquidity pools cooking over here still. We have CMW Wax and we have Honey and Wax. Both of these are in range. We set these to 0 to infinity, 0 infinity, 0 infinity, because we're farming the rewards from this farm more so than we're farming the trading volume yield. So you can see, the trading volume yield on a pool like this is pretty freaking low. It's been about a week and we've made less than 0.1 Wax on the Wax side, but cumulatively between the two we've made about 0.15. Not terrible considering there's about 50 Wax worth of liquidity in here, but also nothing to write home about. The real winner here is going to be in the farms tab. So if we click to the farms, I'm just going to toggle to my farm so it only shows what I have staked right now. And you can see that the Honey Wax pool is pulling 80 almost 78% here in APR, while the CMW Wax pool is 42, 50, 60, 4, 5, 6, 66 plus 8, 70 74% in APR split between these different tokens. And so since last week, we've earned 0.43 honey from this pool. So I'll claim that. And from the other pool, we've earned, I'll come down here and say claim. We've earned about 4 cents, 3.8 CMW, and 1.2 Wax. Sorry, 0.12 Wax. Bam, claimed. And you can see once I've claimed it, it automatically continues to accumulate these rewards. So that's kind of nice. So far, I'm leaving this alone. I'm also going to take a look at the actual pool's values and see how these have done. This started out close to 50 Wax. So this is basically still worth about 50 Wax, considering that this is a bilateral liquidity position. And since it's 0 to infinity, the positions basically split 50-50. So you can actually see here $1.56, $1.55. So we can basically assume that the Wax side, double that, that's the total Wax value of this pool, 50 Wax total. Not bad. So that's basically been flat in terms of Wax. And then this one was also, I believe we had like 38 on the Wax side, or 36, and now it's 38. So this one's also pretty much sitting still. I do think that this one is now higher in Wax value as far as between the two. This one is what 76 Wax total, while the other one's about 50. And if we look at our rewards, this one's actually paying more. 78 is cumulatively, I think, 40, 50, 60. Yeah, this is like 70 4. This is 78. So we're actually getting a higher percentage from the honey pool, and it's less broken up. I kind of like that a little bit better. So part of what I'm thinking here is maybe we move some of the CMW wax into honey. I'm going to go to wax on edge to take a look at the chart. So I'm going to do, I was trying to see how it would split that trade. I'm going to do a CMW and wax and take a look at how the chart looks. So here's the CMW wax chart. This is the daily. I'm going to go to 4 hours just to get a little bit. So this is kind of like how the week, or I guess, let's go to the daily again. So here we can get a sense of how the past week has played out. This is why we can, like I said, we start with like 35 and now we're at 38 on the wax side of this pool. This is why it's gone up in terms of wax. The price has gone up in terms of wax. If we also look at honey, I imagine honey's probably similarly or flat, more flat maybe. Yeah, pretty flat. It's the 1 minute chart for some reason. So let's go back to the daily chart. But similarly to our expectation, the price of honey token is pretty flat.
Pigwig is asking, what is CMW?
Oh, CMW is Credit Metaverse's token. So Credit Metaverse, they'll like advertise everything.
They're a loaning platform on Wax.
Yeah.
Nobody really uses it, but you can like loan NFTs to people. Or like, it's like you take the NFT, and if you don't pay them back the amount of wax, then how does it work? I already like you have to put down like a down.
You can put up an NFT for any amount of wax, and then if somebody comes by and gives you the wax for it, they could pay, like basically deposit the NFT and get hold on, get a let me send in and I'll show you how it works. You can basically set a borrow rate where it's like, hey, I'll borrow this amount of wax from you and I'll put up this NFT as collateral. If the person who borrows the wax from you does not return the wax in the agreed amount of time, then you get to keep their NFT. So you can basically give somebody a loan collateralized by an NFT. Of course, you need to, make sure you're only doing that for NFTs that you can then sell for at least the amount of wax you're loaning out. Otherwise, the person taking the loan isn't going to return the wax. But if you come up here, you can go to auctions, and this is what the CMW token is mainly used for. Every day there's these auctions on these different like NFT kind of like ownership assets that give you a cut of the fees generated by this peer-to-peer market of people, loaning out their assets to each other, and you use CMW to buy those. That's mostly.
Last we checked, though, you don't earn very much.
You don't earn very much because the activity isn't crazy high. But if you come here and go to peer-to-peer, you can go to choose either borrow or lend. And if I wanted to say borrow an NFT, I could come and look at, I don't have any assets, but let's see, requests. Borrower, sorry, should be over here. Peer-to-peer. Is it borrow? No, I went to the wrong one again. It is peer-to-peer lend. I should be able to see it. Here's a bunch of people offering to lend out, like exo gloves for Alien Worlds for 1 wax. So if I could sell this for, less than 1 wax, if I could just buy it for 1 wax, I probably wouldn't do this. But I could come here and be like, okay, I'll take, I'll borrow this. Let's say it sells for, around 1 wax or whatever. I could borrow it from this person instead of buying it. Use it for 7 days. I can offer them an interest rate of 10%, and therefore it doesn't like that I put a 0 in front of it. I could offer them 10% interest rate, and then I can return the glove 7 days later, and I would get back everything except for 0.09. Then the person who lent me the gloves would keep this as their profit. So with 1 wax, it's not super exciting, but the theory here is like when there is a reason to have high value NFTs, such as like Our Planet Miners, or when Farmers World was huge, and the drilling machines or whatever. And let's say you're going to bed and you can't use your excavator for the next 8 hours, you could lend it out to somebody else for 8 hours for, be like, okay, you have, the excavator currently sells for 10,000 wax. So you could be like, you have to put up 10,000 wax, but I'll let you borrow it for 0.1% interest. And then they could put up the 10,000 wax, which would be almost the same as if they had bought it, but then they could use it and then return it, get their 10,000 wax back, and you only keep, whatever the interest you agreed on. So that's kind of the concept of
Pig was saying you have to put collateral down and you get custody of the item. Hey, you get custody of the item, and then
you get custody of the item.
If you don't give the item back, they keep the wax. That's how it works.
They keep the collateral. So like with this glove, the period here is set to 7 days. So if in 7 days you haven't returned this to close the open lend, then the full amount of your collateral that you put up, the 1 wax, becomes the lender's, and then you can just keep the glove at that point.
Wait, doesn't that, if the lowest listing is 47 wax, wouldn't you want to do that? Just take it and sell it? Am I reading that backwards?
Yeah, I guess. Let's see amount. So the other side of this is this listing could be crazy old, and let's say if I offer this guy 10% and make the offer, they still have to accept it.
I don't think the exo gloves have ever been worth less than 1 wax. Maybe they have. I don't know.
There we go. So I've made a successful offer here. My offers should show up here. There it is. My offers. There it is. So now the offer's open. I'm offering to pay 10% interest on 1 wax. If this person accepts the offer, then yeah, I could just go sell this for 40 wax and let them keep the 1 wax, whatever. So there's like that side to this. So, be careful. Make sure you understand how this is working before you start lending your high value NFTs out. But if you do use it correctly and there is a demand for, passive ownership of a certain asset, especially like, our planet, where it was like you have to claim every 300,000 or whatever tokens. And then if you have an NFT that generates that much every hour and you're going to bed, it might be worth renting that shit out to somebody, and it might be worth it for both parties, not just for like you to make money on your asset. It might be a good deal for someone to rent it for, like 10 wax overnight, and then they're going to be making like 30 wax with that shit too. So it's a cool concept. It just needs to be more, there needs to be more traction, basically, I think. Like there needs to be more reason for people to want to like lend out NFTs. But other than that, the team, we've interviewed them on our show too. We've talked to like the people behind it. The CMW token also has
the guy who founded the project used to, before this, he ran like Bitcoin ATMs where you can go and like withdraw cash and trade it for Bitcoin like in person in Europe. So it seems like a pretty legitimate like. And also they were working with, I think, some of the people from NFT Battle Miners as well. So like,
yeah, exactly. And those guys really knew how to like build their back end. Was really impressive even from the start. So I don't know. I didn't hate that. And their token supply is not whack. I think it's like 13 million is the max supply of CMW. So all of those reasons, I was not like, normally I won't just ape into especially on our like Tech Tuesdays here. I don't just ape into farms that I don't know shit about just because the APR is good. So I did CMW because I'm comfortable enough with that for the APR that they're paying.
I think the main problem is there's no games. Like it came out like sort of after Farmers World died, and there haven't really been any games since they launched that like had expensive enough assets that you'd be willing to rent them and like make it worth. Also, like I guess the problem with that is like you have to make the price so expensive to rent your good gaming assets that like people could just buy them at that price. You like, I don't know, like it's, if you're needing to rent something, like you don't have the money necessarily to cover the cost of it in full anyway.
That's the kind of beauty of it there, because like a game like Farmers World for me always had the sense of like these assets could fall to 0 in any minute. Like I don't know if I want to buy into this for 10,000 wax if tomorrow it's going to be dead. So then I might actually be more inclined to rent something for 10,000 wax in collateral as long as like the term of the contract, let's say, is like the term of the rental, I'll rent it for 2 weeks, right? And then if a week into that rental the value of that item drops to only 5,000 wax, I can return my rented item and still get my 10,000 back. So in that case, it actually makes a lot of sense to me to use a platform like
The
this.
problem is you still have to have 10,000 wax, and
The
like
problem is exactly you still have to have the amount of wax you would have used to buy the asset to begin
I
with.
feel like a
'Cause you
lot of
have to
people
put
that
up
would want
collateral.
to rent stuff don't have the capital. Like they would just buy it if they had the
That
capital.
becomes and it's hard to leverage capital because once you borrow the asset, it has to be in my wallet so I can play the game with it, so I can make money with it. So it can't just be like, oh, I own it through a proxy contract or something. I have to actually have it, and once I actually have it, I could just sell it or keep it or whatever, since it's on the blockchain and the blockchain is final. So it definitely, I'm really excited to see how it does when or if like a big game kind of like ramps up again. Like I would probably lend out some of my Music Mogul like rares if they were worth renting out. But yeah, it's a cool concept, I think. But yeah, I guess I don't need to send you that. But yeah, then the last of our liquidity for this wallet from last week is on Taco Swap in the USDT Wax pool. The reason we did that is because we wanted a little bit of our liquidity staying in USDT Wax exposure, and Alcor no longer was incentivizing the pool, but Taco was. So if I come to Meal, I guess I go to Staked, we should see there is some incentives for this USDT Wax, and those are ones we've been farming. Since last week, though, a USDT Wax pool has returned to Alcor for new farm incentives. So 19% APR over on Taco Swap at the moment. If I look at Alcor, and this time under Earn Farms, and then not just my farms, but all farms, there we go. There's a new pool here. It is splitting 12 and 12, so about 24% APR right now, half and half split between the two assets in the pool. Very cool. I'm a big fan of that. Just because it's already more APR, that's enough for me to move. But I also like that it's paying in Wax and USDT. So my exposure, because this wallet we will only claim at next week again. So if the price of Wax falls throughout the week, the price of all my rewards have fallen as well. So this is going to mitigate that, where only half of my rewards are actually subject to the fluctuating price of Wax. So with all that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the liquidity from Taco Swap because I want to migrate this over to Wax or to Alcor. I'm going to remove the liquidity, and I'm going to not forget to claim my rewards. So let's see. It's thinking for a minute, for a little longer than it normally does. Okay. There we go. Signed and success. And now up here on my account name in the top right under account and rewards, I should see the rewards from the week. And so I've also earned about half a Wax. Oh, wow. I can now withdraw fractionals of it, but of course I want everything. Of course I do. Okay. I like Taco Swap, and Taco Swap pools are fun too. But I'm chasing APR, and the APR is just better on Alcor at the moment. So what is it called? Mercenary liquidity. I'm moving to whoever's paying the most. Last thing I want to do is check what other opportunities there are for APR over here. The Wax Wombat pool paying 66% is pretty solid. It's running on 10 days left, which would cover for the rest of the week because I will be back to check on this next Wednesday. So that's not too terrible. Right now, by the way, this is organized by highest liquidity. That means the most tokens in the pool, dollar value wise. And that's kind of, I want to participate in pools that have high liquidity versus like low liquidity pools. Because if I were to change this to like highest APR, for example, let's see, highest APR, a lot of these pools are going to have almost no value in them, and it'll cost ridiculous price impact just to enter those positions. Plus, I don't know these tokens, and even though 1,000% APR is very attractive, it's unlikely that this will hold any sort of value for a full week. So I don't really chase that. Sticking to highest liquidity though, 66% for the Wax Wombat pool. It seems to be a pretty decent like offering here. And we also have the SPN, the Spin World token, paying 200. That's pretty substantial. What I want to do though is move our USDT Wax into this pool where we're earning this yield. So you can see this is the 0.03% pool. The way I can open this position is going to be hit this and say add liquidity. And then for this pool, I'm going to use the range that we have looked at our chart for the week. So I'm going to go, like I was saying, we're probably going to find our support here, but just to be safe, I'm going to use our old range, which is going to be about 5 cents on the low end and 8 cents on the high end. So between 5 and 8 cents is where I'd like to supply wax, because I believe by next week we should be within that range still. So I'm going to do that by clicking here, this 5%. And at first, I'd like to make sure that my stuff is denominated in cents, and it is. So I'm going to do on my minimum price here 5 cents. My maximum price is going to be 8 cents. And so there we go. We have our range set. It's a relatively wide range, but it's not 0 to infinity. So we're still going to be concentrating our liquidity around this spot price, just like in the picture here, which is going to give us a bigger share of the network fees from transactions moving through this pool, so long as our liquidity stays in range. The downside, of course, being that our impermanent loss will also be compounded or concentrated the same way that our fee earning ability is. But because we're looking at our chart and we're setting that up, we don't. And so first thing I'm seeing here is to satisfy this range, I need to have a little bit more wax. And I am also remembering that I've claimed rewards that I haven't turned into wax yet. So before I progress on that pool, I'm going to sign in on wax on Edge with my wallet, and I'm going to swap my rewards into wax, hopefully getting enough wax on the wax side of this equation to be able to enter this pool without having to rebalance anything out of my USDT wallet. So here we go. This is Wax on Edge homepage. It's just waxonedge.app. It is a aggregator for decentralized exchanges on the Wax blockchain. You can see, I'm going to just go to swap now. What it's doing is it's going to look for swap route paths between Taco Swap, Alcor Swap, DeFi Box Swap Market, and then the Alcor Spot Market. So the Alcor like limit order trading market. All 4 of those are being looked at when you set any of these trades. The benefit being you can now trade between multiple dexes in a single transaction, and you can trade between assets that don't actually have liquidity pairings directly. So like you could do Shing into PXJ or something, and if there is no pool for that, it would still find a path. So I'm going to say first I want to sell my CMW into wax that I've claimed from the week. So I'm going to grab those. It looks like that's going to be about 1 wax. Let's do that swap. And then here's, I guess after I sign that, I'll show you how the route went. Here, even though it was just for 1 wax, this is what it ended up doing. We moved CMW and it went DeFi Box, Alcor, and Taco, and it split up at these percentages to get me that fee.
Random King also had a question a minute back. I said, does that wax sit in a third wallet for the length of the contract? Like if I accidentally spend all the wax loaned to me, I don't get the item back?
For which one?
For CMW borrowing.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah, when you do the when you basically put the collateral up, the collateral sits in the smart contract on CMW's platform, and the smart contract is basically locked and can only be withdrawn from by the wallet that put those monies, like those wax there, if that wallet returns the NFT, or when the contract expires, it becomes withdrawable by the person who put up the NFT in the first place. So it's all handled basically on chain through a smart contract. So it's not like you could accidentally spend the money you've committed to something. Once you're committing to it, it's in their contract already.
That does also mean though that the security of their smart contracts is responsible for, like, if somebody hacked into smart contracts, they could steal all the loaned wax. Common Trader also asked what happens if it goes beyond picked borders. I'm guessing, did you set some parameters for a liquidity pool?
Oh, if it goes, say again? If it goes,
I was just taking a shit, so I didn't see what you just did. But did you set a target range for liquidity pool?
I'm setting this. I haven't yet, but this is the goal right now.
He's asking what happens if it goes beyond your target range.
Okay, so it'll even tell you down here, but a portion, your portion of all of the liquidity that you add to the pool will be 100% in the asset, based on that target range. Woo, let there be light. So what that means is, if wax falls between now and when we go check this shit out again next Wednesday, if we fall below 5 cents, then all of the USDT in this pool, which at the moment is $5.86, will have been sold into wax on the way down. And right when we hit my range line here, we'll have sold all of it, and I'll just be sitting 100% in wax. If instead wax pumps over the week and we move beyond 8 cents, then we will have sold all 120 of this wax into USDT. We'll probably have like $12 worth of USDT in the wallet, but any further price appreciation of wax we will miss out on because we'll have sold everything already. Same with if wax falls further, we won't be buying any wax cheaper than 5 cents. So when you set a range like this, when your limits are basically at the point of your limit, 100% of the token is going to be, in the counterpart beyond the limit, is kind of like the short version of that answer. The reason you want to set this range though is because now 100% of all of your tokens are being, available for trading liquidity in this range. So you end up with a much higher portion of ownership of the total in-range liquidity, which gives you a lot more of the trading fees associated with people trading, swapping back and forth through the pool. It does not really affect your share of the rewards from the farm. It is only going to help kind of like concentrate the fees that you're earning in the fee side of this equation, which I'll show you once the position's open. Let's just finish moving the rest of our rewards over, and it looks like I've got pretty much as I can. So I might move like a tiny amount of my USDT over as well. I'll do like 50 cents. I said 0.5. There we go. 8 wax. That's fair. And so even this trade is okay. So this one is going directly just on Taco Swap. But the really cool thing about having used Wax on Edge for this trade is I didn't have to check where was I getting a better deal, Alcor, Taco, or whatever. That's what Wax on Edge is doing for me. And so even though it just was a straight trade, it still was beneficial to me because I didn't have to sign in on multiple exchanges and I didn't have to check which one was which. So now I'm going to go back over here. I should have close to what I need now, 106. And this has been open for a while, so I'm like 99% sure this is going to fail. It's going to be some kind of error about slippage here.
Walk the Grid is also asking,
slippage.
This might be something to talk about after, but how do you prevent permanent loss? Do you mean impermanent loss? Probably.
So yeah, impermanent loss becomes permanent loss when you basically when you realize it, right? So impermanent loss is basically the loss that's been suffered by your liquidity position relative to the value of those tokens had you not participated in liquidity. You recover that loss by staying in a liquidity position long enough and having the price kind of return to where your original range kind of started, or a little bit, outside of that original range. But as long as you stayed in the pool long enough and you've earned all the fees from all the trading back and forth, eventually the idea is that is enough to counteract your impermanent loss.
Also assumes that the positions recover, though.
It is
the positions
exactly.
never recover.
It assumes quite a bit, and impermanent loss very often can become permanent. And on token pairs like Wax USDT, you should expect, more likely than not, if you're only farming this, I would expect to suffer permanent loss. Like very likely you would lose a portion of your tokens to decay, and that is mitigated by the rewards the farm is paying. That's where we want, basically that's why we need those farm rewards. If we don't get those, it wouldn't make sense for us to participate in this. Let's try this range again really quick though. I gotta do it quicker because otherwise it's gonna fail, because the longer you wait, obviously the price is moving, and the more the price moves, the higher my slippage becomes when I enter the pool. There we go. So this time it went through. But here's what I mean. Or here, I'll show you what I was talking about. So now that I have a position open, here you can see I now own 0.03% of this entire pool. And I'm doing that with $11. $11 is definitely not 0.03% of the total value of the pool. The whole pool is worth $148,000. So 0.03% of this would be 0.03 would be what here, like $30. You know, it would be like 30, almost $40 to get 0.03% of the pool. But I'm able to get 0.03% of the pool share because my range is tightened like this. And therefore, all of my liquidity, which is only $12, has now the same weight at this spot price as $35 or $40 worth of liquidity would have being supplied from zero to infinity. So by concentrating my range, I'm able to get a larger share of the pool. And by having a larger share of the pool, I can generate a higher cut of my rewards, or of the pool's rewards. So that is kind of the main reason why you'd want to target your liquidity tightly. You definitely get a better yield return that way. Like you can see here, I seem to be getting almost 3 or 4 times more of a pool share than I should be with my value because of this range. And this range isn't crazy tight. You know, I have room 18% down and 30% up. So this should hold me through the whole week without having to adjust or touch anything. And like I said, by having done this, I've basically quadrupled the amount of APY that I'm earning from fees in this pool. This is where those fees will stack up. That is going to be entirely separate from the farm. And the farm is right here. And so now on top of that, I'm also expecting, looks like 3 cents in USDT a day, 0.06 wax per day. So this should get me a nice little boost on top of what I've basically more than I was getting at Taco Swap. The last step that I want. Oh, go on.
On Alcor, I earn more trading fees than the reward from the farm with a robot emoji.
Yeah.
And he said he's just his range from 0.060 to 0.064. 0.060 to 0.064, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I shared here in Discord, I shared yesterday when I was like, just for fun, I was like dicking around and making, let's see if I can pull that up. I was making a really tight range. I was showing how, yeah, here we go. Let me pull up this image. Here it is. Okay, check this out. So I did this yesterday from my wallet where I put up, this was like 4,000 wax worth of liquidity. But look at, I set the range relatively tight, 0.06, like you're saying, to 0.063. And now I'm earning $7 per day, and I have 4.2% of the entire pool. And again, this pool is $150,000 deep. So 4% of that would be, like $4,000 or $6,000. So I'm getting $6,000 worth of liquidity yield from fees on $200. So making these kind of ranges can end up being quite lucrative. And you can see I opened this pool, I think like a few hours or so before. Like this was all within like 3 or 4 hours. As long as I was in this range, I was earning all these rewards. So there is a great, opportunity to farm, yield farm. This is actual yield farming on wax, because whenever I need to remove and everything, none of this stuff costs me any fees. So it's actually, I could, if I have the time, I could sit here all day, set really, really tight ranges with not a whole lot of money, and end up supplying, the equivalent to tens of thousands of dollars in liquidity to the swaps, and then earn my share of tens of thousands of dollars worth of trading fees. So really, really cool if you have the patience and the time to like sit and watch and maintain your positions in range. Like if we go back to Alcor,
this kind of ties into what Walk the Grid asks next, which is, so when the market is moving, should check daily then?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes hourly. It depends on how much is moving. So, and how tight your range is, of course. But if you take a look at this pool, this pool, $150,000, it's doing almost like more than that in a week. So every week, like 100% of this volume is turning over. So the capital efficiency is not terrible, and you can farm pretty substantial yield from stuff like that. That's basically the main reason why concentrated liquidity farming is such a powerful tool.
It's also maybe something to think about when you're setting your range is the tighter the range, the more often you have to check it because it's going to go out of range. So if you're like, I only
Exactly.
want to check this position once a week, then maybe make a wider range so you're
That's
less
what we're
likely to
doing
go out of
here.
it.
Since
And
I'm committing to only checking on this again next week Wednesday, so I'm setting my range based on my chart reading, based on the range that I feel comfortable we're going to stay within for the coming week, since I'm not going to be able to touch this until we're back on air.
if you want to
So
be really active though, you can set super tight ranges and update
yeah,
it every 30 minutes, but it really just depends on like how active you want to be. And Wapaka also has, this is something Max you do as well, but maybe you can talk about. He says it's a good strategy to do that with wax you want to sell, but don't care about not selling them right now. If it goes out of range, up, you sell. Otherwise, you get more wax. In the meantime, you grind fees.
yeah, exactly. It's like, especially when wax is on the way up like this too, what you can do is like, if I'll make a position for wax USDT, if I'm like farming on the way up, what I like to do is I might start by being like, okay, 5 and 5. I think wax is going to continue to climb right now for the next few hours, and I'm looking at my wax chart like on the 15-minute timeline, and I'm like, okay, over 15 minutes here, the bottom of my range is 6.1 cent and the top is 6.3. So now if I take my little ruler here, now there's a range that is, what is that, 4% total? So it's like, okay, it's 4% total, but we're already close to the bottom of it, right? I'm thinking we're going to bounce here and move up. So what I might do is I might come to Alcor, choose this range, and then set it like this. Yoink. Like, wait. Sorry, I went the wrong way. This way. So I might set it something like this. So this is that 4% range. But now you can see, if I bring $6 worth of wax, I need $6 worth of USDT. So now I'm biasing super heavy on the USDT side. I'd open this liquidity position, and then if I'm correct in my assessment of the price action, and we move down to the yellow line, and then we start moving up, then during that entire time, my pool is going to finish off, basically selling the last of this wax into USDT on the way down to the yellow line. And then once we bounce, we're going to start buying all of that wax back on the way up. And so then I can basically farm a position and maybe not have to check in on this super often because I'm setting it with a bias for the current price direction. And so hopefully I'm, biasing correctly. Obviously, if it moves out of the range and moves below, then I'm just sitting in USDT, and the wax could potentially, or I guess in this case, I'm doing this the opposite way around because it needs to be, we're expecting it to go to a low price like this and then move up. And therefore we would bias heavier into wax because obviously on the way up, we would sell into USDT. But yeah, principle's the same.
This is also something that's very good to do on wax, because if you're to try to do this on Ethereum every time you wanted to adjust your range, it would cost you money for gas. So the fact that there's gasless transactions, or at least like you stake your wax and it refills so you can do transactions without burning wax every time, really allows you to do some of these strategies in a more active way that is much harder to do on a blockchain with fees.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this strategy you're showing currently is a more passive strategy if you're just trying to sell into a token rather than adjust your range constantly.
Yeah, exactly. And I do the adjust my range constantly stuff as well. Hold on, let me first quit some of these anchor stacking tasks because they are chugging my computer a little bit. For some reason, like Anchor Wallet will do
if the Solana bridge comes up, then you could start doing this with Solana, where you could do range targeting. And the thing about using tokens outside of Wax is when they move like on other blockchains and centralized exchanges, like the price moves there, people will arbitrage through Wax and then send them through the bridge through the centralized exchanges. So like you're sort of guaranteed volume as long as the price is moving on other chains. So if we could start getting
Exactly.
blue chip tokens from other chains bridged over to Wax, which is what USDT is really, and why it's one of the best ones to trade, is because like there's tons of liquidity on other chains. So like the volume is going to move as long as the
Yep.
price is moving on other chains.
Top
So you don't have to
top
rely
three
on
volume tokens are all multi-chain assets. Wombat is on a different chain and on centralized exchanges. USDT comes from EOS, and then TLM is also on Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum mainnet. So they all have that going on for them.
and the main
And
problem
these are
with
by far the most traded tokens.
also with all the tokens before is most of the bridges were from Ethereum. So like the amount it costs to arbitrage
Yeah.
USDT from Wax to Ethereum would often eat into the amount you would have actually made through the arbitrage trade. So there are people interested in doing that, but getting bridges to chains without such high fees allow you to arbitrage smaller amounts of tokens. So like if there isn't a ton of volume and makes it worth it on Wax, then you'll see like the price be more accurate. Like I think it's better on the Ether USDT than it was before, but like USDT coming from EOS was such a better thing to trade than any of the Ethereum tokens. So it'd definitely be cool to see more layer 2 style bridges.
Yeah. Here's a quick example of this is on Ethereum. This is a Uniswap pool. I balanced this liquidity this morning. So I put in I think almost 90% in USDC this morning. So it's kind of coming up, but since then $9 in fees just from the trading, and then you can see how small my range is. The current price of wrap staked ETH is $3,368. I'm supplying 3,340 to 3,460. So really tight range. But I'm in range, so it's still trading. I'm 23% USD.
Isn't that price 3,600?
This is
3,300.
368. So I'm between
so
340, 450. So I'm still pretty good. But for doing my range this tightly, I'm getting paid on top of, by the way, this $9. This is just fees from trading. So this screen for Uniswap, this is the same as what we're looking at on this screen on Alcor. So you see I have my liquidity pool. This is the fees that I was just seeing where I got the $9. That's what that was. But then the farm page here that we see on Alcor, like this, where you're earning on top of this pool, for the Uniswap one, I'm earning here, and look at what they're fucking paying. 388% APR, not APY, paid in staked ETH. Like, this is fucking batshit banana town, dude. Make so much money in this pool. It's amazing. But yeah, like I just wanted to show that, to show like that's the same exact concept as
you
what
also
I'm doing
have
here.
to be, because like that $10 would just be eaten in gas fees if you were in the farm.
Exactly.
Like, if you
yeah, I need to make
daily.
at least $4 or something in like the fees to cover the cost of rebalancing, because that's what like the gas fees cost, and that's not even Ethereum mainnet. That's a layer 2 of Ethereum called Base blockchain from Coinbase. But what I'm trying to get at is that the concept of doing that is exactly the same. So getting comfortable doing it on Wax with tokens like Wax USDT, or you can of course do it with tokens, like USDT and USDC or something. So it's more of a correlated pair, and then your impermanent loss risk goes a lot lower. But of course, there's a lot less volume, and so it's harder to farm. But either way, you can get kind of good at this here, and then apply the same principles to blockchains where you maybe can make a lot more money because there is a lot more yield or liquidity options. But yeah, let's finish this really quick here. What I wanted to also do was, I was saying, I wanted to take a portion of my CMW Wax and I wanted to add that to the Wax honey pool, just because it's about it's paying more APR. Like, that's pretty much the long and short of it. So I'm going to just take half of this one by clicking 50%. And I'm going to swap the CMW side of this into honey. And here I'm going to give a quick demo of why I really like Wax on Edge. So if I come to swap up here, for example, I can grab my CMW. Of course, I can choose honey as the counterpart. Honey, and I could make a swap. So it's going to get me 10.745. And here's the trade route. So it's doing CMW to Wax, and then it's doing Wax to honey. I can also come up here to the settings and make sure that I'm set to 3 hops, which I am. So I am getting the best route that Alcor can find. So 10.7545. At the same time, I can come over to Wax on Edge and make the exact same trade. We'll go CMW into Honey. Honey. And now we're gonna get 10.839, already a better deal than what Alcor could find. Remember, Alcor was 10.7545 or something, 7545. Yep. So on Wax on Edge, better deal. And what's happening here is we're actually using multiple dexes. CMW Wax on DeFi Box, Wax to Honey on Alcor Swap. You cannot get this route outside of Wax on Edge in a single transaction, and that's where the power here lies. Not only that, but I didn't have to know about this; it just did that for me because it knows. And now I've swapped my CMW to Honey, knowing I got the best rate for that swap, and now I can just come back to pools, and I'm just gonna increase liquidity on my existing position here. So I'll say increase, and grab the Honey. Should have enough to cover it almost. There we go. Okay, and then that's all I want to do for this. So moving into next week, I'm just going to farm these 3 pools. We got Wax USDT.
Mass is asking, does 3 hops mean 3 middlemen?
Say again? 3 what?
Hops. You're talking about trade routing.
Yes. 3 hops means it'll move between up to 3 pools. So we could do like USDC. This is probably going to be kind of a direct one. But it has the permission to find 3 hops. So this is still doing 2, but it could add a 3rd one. By default, Alcor is set to 2. So, it would have still found this route, but there are trade routes that benefit from having a 3rd hop. And so I always like to make sure mine's set to 3. But yeah, what it means is it is now looking for the best possible route with a maximum number of steps being 3 different pools. This is only 2. This pool 1, pool 2, output. Input, pool 1, pool 2, output. So yeah, by default, you got 3 steps here. And then again, Wax on Edge does all that for you. So that's kind of really cool. I do think there are sometimes paths where if you have 3, I've seen it do like, you see how this is the 0.03% pool? I've seen it go like Wax into TLM at 0.03 and then into TLM or TLM back into Wax at 0.1 and then Wax into USDT or something. So it was like it did an arbitrage between 2 TLM pools as part of the route on Alcor, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's all I kind of wanted to cover. So one quick little overview. We're moving into the next week holding our Wax USDT pool as our largest position. And then, with our existing trading range that we've been kind of tracking for a while now, 5 cents to 8 cents. And then we're also holding CMW Wax for the farm rewards. We've scaled that down by 50% to scale up our Wax Honey pool by that same amount. And that was because our farm rewards on Honey were slightly higher. Not a whole lot, but slightly. And I'm a fan of Honey, so I was like, let's stick a little bit more with this one. It's a little straighter, more straightforward since it has a single asset that it's pegged to, that the reward value is pegged to.
Honey is also part of the buyback fees for Atomic Hub.
Exactly.
Atomic Hub buys an FT token, Wombat token, and Honey token every week. So there's like guaranteed buy pressure on those 3 tokens.
Yeah. So I want to sit in these pools now. So I'm going to keep these ones farming. And so moving into next week, this is what we'll be sitting on. So we'll be back on next Wednesday to take a look at how those have performed, claim the rewards from all those, and then see how the market looks to see if we need to change our ranges, swap from any of these assets into other assets, or how best to continue to, grow our Wax with this wallet. Again, we started with 100 Wax, and you can see there's multiple hundreds of Wax in here now. So we're doing pretty well as far as growing the value of Wax. I say we keep it up.
We had a few comments that I think I can pair together in our response to. Walk the Grid says, I want to learn this Solana economy soonish. And Pigwig also said, you should check out the JLP on Solana. It's pretty cool. And I think Max and I right now don't really mess with Solana, but I feel like as soon as there's a bridge to Solana from Wax and the Wuffi token gets us over there, I think Max and I are both more interested in maybe bridging some of our tokens over there, selling it, and then participating in stuff with the rewards from those tokens. So I think there's a real chance we look into Solana, but I'd say we probably won't do a ton of it until the bridge exists. But I think that's a good topic because once the bridge exists, anybody can easily get over there. So then,
and then we'll definitely look at how to move between these two. Like, how do we set up on Solana without ever having used it before? I feel like that'll be a good topic too for Tech Talks.
And it gives us an excuse to learn it too, because right now neither of us really do it. But once I can get over there, I'm also, if I can sell Wuffi and then use that Wuffi in DeFi stuff over there, like I'm way more inclined to do that than just buy Solana by itself. And we also had a few compliments. Walk the Grid said, "Love this channel, guys. Learning so much good stuff." And Thug also says, "Really enjoy the DeFi portion. Keep the good work. Thanks for watching." Every Wednesday we do this, so Wax Wednesday is our...
Yeah, if you have specific DeFi topics you want to dive into, like I'm deep into this DeFi stuff, and this is very scratching the surface of how deep we could get if you wanted to get crazy deep.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll be streaming again tomorrow.
He's about to head out.
Tomorrow is our Off the Rails stream. Few things I want to look at. Borderlands just dropped a trailer for their movie.
Oh yeah, live action Borderlands. I heard about that. I haven't seen it.
So we're gonna watch that trailer tomorrow and talk about it. Max and I both played a bunch of Borderlands. Like, I really liked Borderlands 1 and 2, so I'll be commenting on that if I think it's up to the standard of the game. And then we also wanted to look at the new kind of virtual reality headsets coming out, the Apple Vision Pro, and then also Max was saying he really likes the Meta Quest. Is that what it's called? Meta Quest 3. So we're gonna look at some reviews for those. And Max was, if you all don't know, Max is a visual effects professional. He worked for VFX for like films for years, and he also worked a lot on 3D conversion. And he worked for for a while for a startup that did 3D. It was like 3D headsets for therapy. So Max is like actually pretty expert in 3D specifically. So I'd like to get Max's opinions on those, and everybody's got opinions about the new Apple Vision Pro. So I was going to watch a couple of reviews and kind of just comment on what we think about the reviews.
I've worked on a lot of VR stuff over the years too. Like I did commission stuff for like the European Union and for like Formula One and stuff to do like live action VR content. And I worked back in the day with like the HTC Vive and the Oculus like DK kits and stuff. So like seeing how far this headset technology has come is just exciting to me, because I also
think it's cool as someone who's not a VR expert or a 3D expert. It's just the technology is crazy. Like
it's cool.
I like keeping up, even though I don't plan on buying the Apple Vision. Like I just think it is really cool what they're doing, and like I like the possibilities it has more than like what it currently is. We'll go over all this tomorrow.
I'm jealous, yo. Is it worth it, Montasuerte? Is it fun? Like, would you recommend someone else get one, or are you just like, this is stupid? I'm curious, because I went to a friend's house and I played with hers, and I was really blown away. Like I was like, damn, this is so much better than it was at like HTC Vive times when I first got mine.
Yeah, we'll check that out tomorrow. I'm sure. I got a few reviews pulled up on our Off the Rails channel.
And we got, you know what, to be fair, I bought a Vibe. I liked the Vibe as much as it was like, limited and tethered and heavy and all that shit. Like I'm just like, I was already on board then. So like the fact that it's come so far, I want one badly. It looks so cool.
This looks crazy. I've seen the videos they have of like surgery where you can see like when you're cutting into someone's head, like which part of their head you should be like. So like training.
Yeah, it'll like project into like where like different veins and nerves and shit are. It's so cool. There's also, I did something for a company that was doing in what is it, aerospace engineering, where they would go fix like jet planes on like aircraft carriers as like a it's a military contractor. It's not part of the Navy. It's like they get contracted by the Navy to go do this type of work. And so the engineers are not able to work on actual like military fighter jets because the military owns those. They're not, you can't like practice on that shit. So I was working on like doing a VR sim of those so that the engineers could like, oh, this is what the problem is that we're going to go, do next week. So they would in VR like be able to work on it and see like where those components of those machines were, so they know what like parts to bring and how to do it before they ever show up. I don't know. It was really cool. Like the application of the VR stuff is pretty fun. Oh, there's one other anecdote really quick.
We should save
I made
it for tomorrow. Our whole stream
okay,
tomorrow is
okay,
going to be
okay.
talking about this.
Yeah, I have a bunch of anecdotes.
You
I
want to
worked in
hear
this field
Max's
for years.
awesome anecdote? That's going to be super exciting. Come back tomorrow and we will be streaming.
True. I worked in this for like 6-7 years. I did a lot of stuff in VR.
So we'll be looking at some third-party reviews, and then also having Max's expert commentary and my fucking dumbass commentary, who knows nothing about this stuff. But
that'll be a good mix.
Yeah,
and of
when
course,
Max starts
jump
talking about
in,
stuff
ask
that
questions, talk shit about VR. I love it. If you don't like VR, definitely come and be like, "This is what I hate about it," so I can know what people.
I haven't really done much VR since. I mean, Max has his Vive headset that we used to play on years ago, so I don't really know what the new games and stuff are like. So I'm excited to see.
Right.
I'm sure the Linus Tech Tips review will have like applications for it, but I'll check that out tomorrow. And then on Friday, maybe we'll play more Counter-Strike. I don't know. Friday's our gaming day, so we'll be doing like Grubfish giveaways and just gaming. I got a new soccer game that I'm really enjoying, so maybe I'll show that off. It's not Web3 or anything, but I got a game called Sociable Soccer that was on sale on Steam, and I've been playing that a bunch the last couple of days. It's really fun.
Whoa, hold on. I gotta ask Mansuete something. That was the thing I thought about when I tried the MetaQuest 3 with my friends, is that you didn't need a PC at all. It just was self-contained. Like, she doesn't have a computer. She was just using the MetaQuest on its own. And it was impressively functional. That was the main part. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you don't even need a computer anymore? Like, because when I bought my Vibe, like the Vibe was like $800, but you needed like a $2,000 computer to run it. So like now it's like, what, for $500 you get the whole thing self-contained and it fits on your head? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll get into it tomorrow.
Later, Pigwig. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm excited to see the updates and VR stuff. I'm trying to think. We don't have a ton of off the rails videos, so that's probably gonna be our main thing tomorrow. But if anybody has any off the rails videos, we have a channel in our Discord. You can post them. We'll watch them. Like funny, cringe, crazy, learning stuff. Anything you think is worth showing to us in the stream and commenting on, we're happy to look at. So
yeah,
if you're in our Discord, I'll post the link. Feel free to post those, and there's a channel called Off the Rails. Happy to look at anything you want us to look at. I'll be down to play Counter-Strike this Friday. I've been enjoying Counter-Strike. Yeah, Max and I had a good time last time. And then next Thursday, we're going to have a Novo Pangea on. So
yeah, get into their game too.
I guess one last promo for this Friday. We'll have our first blend in quite some time. We're going to do a Burn Street Gyrating Hips, which is my musical project, collaboration with Neon Space. There'll be a Gyrating Hips neon sign, and then like a 30-second clip, which is the chorus of my new song that I'm releasing that I've been playing on stream for quite some time. But yeah, I'm very excited for a new song this Friday, and also just new Neon Space. It's been a while since we have a blend, so get your 2 Neon Blend tokens ready if you'd like to participate in that blend, and that'll be happening Friday, probably before we do Counter-Strike. But I'm going to run this Grubfish, and we're going to call this a stream because I have to go work on the music video for the song that I'm releasing.
Oh, Beat Saber is super fun.
If I can, I wonder if I can like figure out the music video fast enough, I might be able to give it to Max to add as some sort of Easter egg in the video.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Like playing on a TV in the background, like while it zooms in and out of the thing. But I don't know if I'll finish it. I mean, I'll have to finish it by Friday, but I don't know if I'll finish it in time for you to figure out a way to put it in as an Easter egg.
Right.
I'm going to work on that tonight. So hopefully I have something to give to you by tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see if I can make like something cool, like a disco dance floor or something too. Some place to display the sign.
Disco Jones. So last call, exclamation point neon if you want to join this giveaway. I think we'll give away another Sune Loves ECCC. There's so many C's in there, it's too many. Emerald City Comic Con. And that's promoting the new Sune exclusives at Emerald City Comic Con this weekend. So if you're in the Seattle area and like collector shit, go check it out. I'd like to go to Emerald City Comic Con at some point. I've never been to any of we went to PAX, Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle, but that was not really collector focused. So
yeah,
PAX was fun though. We have a lot of good memories from PAX. Like
Dope. Yeah, thanks for joining us today,
The
guys.
comments in the
This was
chat.
fun.
Monosorte says, my wife and daughter battle each other in Beat Saber, and then
Yeah, I saw that. I love that game.
Inadequate Mass says, hope you're good enough to take them on both. Then Monosorte says, no, I don't even try. They're both horrible losers and horrible winners.
That's the worst. But at
Max,
least
you're
you
pretty
know.
bad. You're a pretty bad winner.
I'm a pretty bad winner. Oh yeah, I'll talk a lot of shit.
Get
It's
ask Mark
super
from
fun.
Ping Pong. Mark just, I mean, Max does not win with.
I'm a gracious loser, though. I admit when I've lost. It's just that I don't lose. No, I'm talking shit again. I don't know. Shit talking is a big part of gaming. Get on board, Monosuerte. Talk shit back to them.
I've been watching Counter-Strike, and like shit talking is a legit strategy. Like when they scream and shit, that's not just like, that's to tilt your opponents. Like if you can get in your opponent's head, and like every time you kill them, you scream and they're just like fucking intimidated by you. It's like a war cry.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
People use that as a psychological way to have an advantage in competitive stuff.
Dude, I would talk shit to like the opponent teams, like when it was like proximity chat, like when I'm playing like competitively. When I was good enough at games to like stomp people, I would do shit like I'd be like, oh shit, I'm low health when I'm like around a corner, just to goat people to come around the corner to try to like get a pick, and it's just like, I'm not low health, like blam. That kind of shit.
I saw the fucking some of the sneakiest shit in Counter-Strike yesterday, like basically what you're saying, where audio cues are a huge part of Counter-Strike. So like people almost always walk and don't run. And a guy purposely was jumping and walking and running away from the bomb site to try to bait people into think they're leaving, but they left 3 people there and had 1 guy, so they thought the whole team was rotating to like try to bait them in. I was like, God, these pros are so fucking sneaky. Like they're using the audio cues incorrectly to try to trick people into think they're leaving. Like
that's pretty fun.
All right, let's do this giveaway. This is for the Sune Loves Emerald City Comic Con, and then
I'm gonna hide myself so you can see the whole screen.
I'm gonna try to say 2:30 tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get her stream an hour earlier each day. My sleep cycle's fucked, but I think I can commit to 2:30. And then Friday 1:30, let's say. Let's get my sleep cycle back in swing 1 hour at a time. Got to not stay up until 9 a.m. today, fucking like a lunatic. We'll see though. I might get sucked into Counter-Strike again. I do have to wake up. I have a gig on Fridays, or I mean on Monday, so I have to not be waking up in the afternoon by then. All right, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Is that even a thing people still know, or am I such an old internet nerd that they're like, Leroy Jenkins? Like a fucking.
I think that's still part of the zeitgeist. People know Leroy Jenkins, right?
I used to love that video. Maybe I'll put that in our Off the Rails. That and there's a hamstring one from Warcraft 3 that was hilarious too.
Wasn't that just like they were all getting ready for like a fucking giant raid, and the guy just like starts running in and it's just like Leroy Jenkins?
I think it's Blackwing Lair, which is like a
Grubsplode.
Oh no, swear Jay got some people. Blackwing Lair, which was I think it was a 10-man. It wasn't a raid. Raid's 40-man. It's like a 10-man dungeon in Blackrock Spire, I think is the location, which is where Molten Core, where the 40-man raid is. But
okay, nerd.
There's all these fucking eggs that you're just supposed to walk around. Like you can just not walk into the eggs, because if you walk into the eggs, they hatch and you have to fight them. So most people, when they do that dungeon, just avoid the eggs entirely. You just do a path around them. And the way they hatch is if like you hit an enemy and the enemy runs away from you because it's low health, it can run into the eggs and hatch them. So like that's sort of like the danger. But in the video, he just runs and jumps into all of the eggs and makes them hatch. Just like a total troll move. That's not how anybody who's actually doing the dungeon would play.
Okay, that's even better than what I thought it was. Oh shit!
Oh,
man,
you're gonna get. Oh,
he chose death.
Poppinstock, congratulations.
Poppinstock coming in hot, but not hot enough to make it to the end of the screen. Ooh, and a green or blue flag. Dope.
Yeah, I did that dungeon a shit ton of times because there was a pair of daggers there that you could only get from that dungeon, and it was like a 0.05% drop rate, so you had to do the dungeon like 200 times for the drop. Or Jesus. I think it was swords. It was one-handed swords, and I was a combat rogue, so I grinded that dungeon like more than almost any other dungeon. Wow, like I played that shit on repeat like 100 times. I only ever got one. I wanted 2 of them, and I got one. But
yeah,
good WoW times. I fucking used to love WoW. That was like the glory days of WoW too, because that was before like all the expansions dropped and shit. That was one of the like Molten Core was the tier 1 like hardest thing you could do in vanilla WoW, and that was like you would grind that dungeon to get the gear to do Molten Core.
I see.
Molten Core I also had a ton of fun
Dope.
doing. Solgarub, I think, was the other big raid from vanilla WoW. That just makes me want to play WoW again, but I can't get sucked back into WoW. That shit consumes your life. Or it can if you want to play it.
That shit was so fun.
At a level where you're actually able to do stuff. They also made the new WoW like you can grind it as many hours there are in the day. Like there's so much stuff to do in that game, and they made it super great.
Yeah.
It's pretty. See how this market cap's doing. Anything change? Nope, still where we are. Maybe we'll check this out on Friday too, because the final
Friday's
list
the
will
last
be out
day.
on Friday.
Friday is the day it matters. And honestly, with some of this volume, you could make up for this in one day. So
Yeah, I think the shenanigans aren't over yet. Oh no way. Jesse Lee Peterson's on the H3 podcast. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that after this. Jesse Lee Peterson's such a fucking garbage human being, but so entertaining.
Ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Beta. That's one of the sound bites.
Or I might just break away and pee because I gotta pee.
Yeah, we're about to end. I was gonna play buying the dip and then.
Oh, good one. Buying the dip. Buying the dip's a good strategy. Hold on, what's the market look like? Did we dip? Yeah, we dipped a little bit. Buying the dip.
Where are we gonna raid into? We're gonna raid into Nova Pangea. We can raid into. What are they doing? Nova War Battles. Yeah, we'll raid into Nova Pangea. We don't know when the airdrops are yet. People said Q2, beginning of
Q2 is kind of general consensus is Q2. So stick around. April is the beginning of Q2.
Let's get some Infinity Mirror going. Infinity. Infinity. Yeah, we'll raid into Novo Pangea and play buying the raid. We're having Novo Pangea on a week from today, around this time too, or a little earlier, like 5 o'clock probably.
Thanks for joining us, guys. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Here's buying the dip.
Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you, with you. Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
First of all this running by Wall Street is making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short. GameStop was short. You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of its stock, crush these companies into the dirt, thousands of stocks into the dirt. Then when the individual makes money, everyone's entrepreneurs. I have a kid who bought a house, paid $50,000 and bought a house. After decades of the short, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing and now you're losing.
Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening? Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, push it, push it, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, buying the dip, buying the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
Well, peace out, everybody. Have a good night. We will catch you tomorrow.
Later. It's another Pangea.
Starts at 8. Neon Space NFT is